Chapter 581, Sweeping Through the Beast Tamers of the Seven Islands, 4. Chapter 581, Sweeping Through the Beast Tamers of the Seven Islands, 4. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. 100 God, who was relatively calm just now, changed his expression almost instantly. It actually, instantly reached 18 million energy points, without the strengthening of the Beast Tamer? How was this possible? The expression of the girl beside him, who was also part of the new generation Beast Tamer of the Seven Islands, suddenly changed. It wasn't strange for Dong Huang's geniuses to pass a few levels. Even if he reached the 7th, 8th, and 9th levels, they wouldn't be surprised. However, in their imagination, he should have experienced a difficult battle to reach this level. What was with this huge difference in battle power? Impressive! At this moment, only the Beast Tamers of Dong Huang secretly clenched their fists. This Liu Bai really had some skills. Tong Yang, Zhu Yun, Ning Tuanming, and the others finally relaxed. How could they not be relieved? If this guy had only insta-killed the Guardian of the 2nd level, they wouldn't be like this. However, at this moment, Shiyu still had no intention of stopping. Instead, he continued to walk towards the 3rd level. This directly made Ji Feng and the others of Dong Huang understand how strong and confident the incomparably weak-looking Beast Tamer was. Dong Huang's genius is indeed worthy of its reputation. At this moment, after a moment of silence, the Warring States legend of the Seven Islands spoke to himself, his expressions no longer changing. He instantly knew that Dong Huang's secret trump card was not simple. He began to relax and let Shiyu challenge it. The top-notch master of the true strongest ladder team of the Seven Islands was waiting for Dong Huang's challenger in the 8th and 9th levels. If he had the ability, come. He didn't believe that Shiyu could continue like this. Just as the Beast Tamers of the Seven Islands have expected, Shiyu charged ahead. In the 3rd level, outside a forest, a middle-aged man from the Greenwood Dojo, a top-notch master of the Seven Islands, commanded the monarch-level giant spirit tree to set up an iron wall to fight Shiyu. In order to fight the Dong Huang challenger, the Seven Islands had indeed put in a lot of effort. This was a plant controller stronger than the previous Guardian. However, as expected, under the shocked expressions of all the Seven Island Beast Tamers, Shiyu made the ice elemental life form beside him use the same trick again. This time, Susu's energy level instantly increased to 20 million. How can it still increase? The Beast Tamers of the Seven Islands looked at the monarch-level ice elemental life form that could still erupt with stronger strength before breaking through the enemy's defense. A frozen stream that froze everything sealed a large area of the forest, turning the Greenwood Forest into an ice forest and finishing the opponent. Let's go! Under the gaze of many Beast Tamers on the sky ship, Shiyu still did not stop and continued walking forward. After the 3rd level, Susu had one more recovery method. Apart from transforming the energy in its body through Infinite Devour, its body was also enveloped in faint starlight. It was connected to the stars and used the power of the Sea of Stars to recover its energy. This skill was unprecedented. Even the legends and titled legends of the Seven Islands couldn't recognize this skill. They could only determine through various performances that this was a method to recover its energy through external energy off-planet. The power of time, the power of the stars, and that unbelievable energy eruption skill made the Beast Tamers of the Seven Islands extremely serious. What race was this? Who could tell them? The 4th level. He was the leader of an ancient ninja village on the Seven Islands. He was a top-notch master who was proficient in dark and assassination. He was also the old man who Zhu Qianwang had approached at the start. After watching Shiyu's performance in silence on the sky ship, he went to prepare. Unfortunately, no matter how well prepared the old man was, he was still insta-killed in the 4th level when facing Shiyu's unethical performance. Susu continued to erupt with power that far exceeded the monarch level. 22 million. Boom! A drop of frozen water froze everything in the world and sealed the shadow in the mountain wall forever. Instant kill again. The Beast Tamers of the Seven Islands couldn't sit still anymore, their gazes exploding. Doesn't he need to change pets? At this moment, 4 Guardians had been insta-killed in succession, and they were all famous top-notch masters in the Seven Islands. The legend of the Warring States finally couldn't sit still. In the eyes of a titled legend like him, the strength of a top-notch master like Shi Yu was naturally nothing. However, from the perspective of someone of the same level, the strength Shi Yu displayed was simply unbelievable. If it was just insta-killing one or two opponents, it would be fine. It could indeed be done with explosive power. However, why could this guy instantly kill for powerful opponents of the same level without any pressure or consumption? Then, he still continued forward calmly and without any intention of changing pets. Did his pet have unlimited energy? He's good at training pets. He doesn't have any shortcomings in energy, the tyrannical sea legend still said calmly, but he was equally happy in his heart. This was surprising? When Ji Feng appeared later, his elemental lord's storage of hundreds of millions of energy points probably wouldn't need to change pets either. Shi Yu and Ji Feng could completely make the Seven Islands suffer. At this moment, the various powerful performances of the Blue Sea Sprite reincarnation shocked the tyrannical sea legend. He knew better than anyone that the Blue Sea Sprite was proficient in water element power, but the power Shi Yu and the others had always displayed was inclined towards the ice element. Therefore, they had yet to display their full strength. Chapter 582, Sweeping Through the Beast Tamers of the Seven Islands, 5. Chapter 582, Sweeping Through the Beast Tamers of the Seven Islands, 5. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. How high had the current strength of the Blue Sea Sprite's reincarnation reached? Was there any hope of the trump card iron-eating beast comparable to Shi Yu if it erupted with all its might? At this moment, the tyrannical sea legend was a little shaken. Although the 9-Li battle beast was Emperor Wu's trump card battle pet, its inheritance had already been broken. Even if it was the 9-Li battle beast with the perfect inheritance, with Emperor Wu's top-notch fusion talent, it was very difficult to defeat Yunnan. As for the Blue Sea Sprite, at its peak, it was an existence even more impressive than Yunnan. If the reincarnation of the Blue Sea Sprite awakened some of the power of the Blue Sea Sprite in advance and leaped to become Shi Yu's strongest pet, he could completely accept and believe it. That was the strongest demigod in the ocean. Tyrannical Sea Legend's expression changed again as he looked at Shi Yu. What a lucky guy! Monster, at this moment, the power Shi Yu displayed completely formed a sharp contrast to his sickly image. Tong Yang, Zhu Yun, and the others swallowed their saliva. Even Ji Feng, a monster with super talent, took a deep breath and acknowledged Shi Yu's strength. This Liu Bai was not bad. He was the second beast tamer they couldn't understand after Shi Yu. They couldn't see the limit of this Liu Bai. Just like that, Shi Yu continued forward with an invincible and unstoppable image. In the 5th level, the snowfield seemed to have become Susa's home ground. The opponent was the Cold Witch from the Ice Snow Temple. He had contracted a 1,000-year-old snow woman of an overlord race. Be it beast tamers or pets, they were all so beautiful and freezing. Heavenly King Zhu and the others from Dong Huang felt pity for her. However, while girls were precious, ruins were even more expensive. 22 million. 18 million, 20 million, 22 million. Every time they arrived at a new checkpoint, Susa's energy level beside Shi Yu suddenly rose to a new height. This never-ending increase directly made the expressions of the opponent and the Seven Island beast tamers change collectively again. Was there really no limit to this guy's explosive power? Did he really not need to rest? Such an eruption had no side effects. After the ice and snow fluttered, Shi Yu took a deep breath and walked past the beautiful ice sculpture with Susu. In the ice sculpture was the panic gaze of the beautiful snow maiden. For all the resources of the Seven Island ruins, no one could stop him. Just like that, a super genius whose strength was enough to rank in the top 5 of the top masters under the age of 30 in the Seven Islands was defeated by Shi Yu in a single move. Shi Yu walked deeper into the path of the champion step by step. Although he didn't stop to rest, his slow progress was actually a kind of rest. The mountain range was so vast. He had only walked through 5 levels, and more than 2 hours had passed. Shi Yu didn't use his pets to travel. He killed an opponent every second and advanced slowly. This was also to let Susu adjust as soon as possible after every eruption. At this moment, on the 7 islands, everyone's scalps were already numb. What was numbing was not that Xiyu had passed the 5th level, but that he had not changed his pet and passed 5 levels in an instant. When Xiyu advanced, it was a huge pressure for the 7 island beast tamers of the sky ship, as if they were being dominated, especially for the next guardian. When you arrived at the 6th level, the waiting big sister of the Yin-Yang master was already drenched in sweat. She was uneasy the whole time and was directly shocked by Xiyu's powerful battle results of the previous 5 levels. She was a little nervous when facing Xiyu. The 6th level, 24 million. Xiyu still didn't go easy on her. It even erupted with stronger strength and defeated the opponent. This time, Susu directly erupted with a huge amount of energy value of 24 million. This energy value was undoubtedly overwhelming for top-notch masters at the 6th level of the Beast Tamer and the Monarch level of the Pet. After all, in the Minghua Exchange team, the level 7 Beast Tamer who contracted a powerful battle pet like the Golden Phoenix Dragon Sparrow had only 20 million energy points after being strengthened to the limit. As for the Guardians on the road to champion, their beast taming levels were all at level 6. Unless there was an abnormal talent like Ji Feng, or a beast tamer like Senior Lu who had abnormal opportunities, more than 20 million energy eruptions were a massacre for the opponent. Of course, Susu actually didn't need to erupt with such strong strength to defeat its opponent. However, the reason why Xiyu let it erupt a little stronger every time was also to train the Holy Water Ring, and train Susu's endurance. He had to make some preparations for the next few levels, especially the 10th level, in case Susu couldn't hold on if it erupted with too much power in one go. He just didn't know how strong the overlords sent by the 7 islands were. If it was a top-notch overlord, Xiyu would probably directly raise a white flag, but if it was an ordinary overlord like the Earth Demon Ape and the Snake Lord, he felt that he could let Susu give it a try. After all, the skill Infinite Devour was equivalent to allowing Susu and Baby Ginseng to cooperate according to the rules. The strongest attack when the power of time was completely activated was their trump card to fight the overlord. Xiyu was still advancing step by step. Using his actions, he told everyone present that his footsteps were unstoppable. Any opponent facing him would only be swept away. At this moment, as Xiyu's battle style gradually appeared, some of the new generation beast tamers on the 7 islands had already developed fear. Even the older generation looked at this Dong Huang monster heavily. They had completely remembered Lu Bai's name. The endless rising energy eruption made the Legends of the 7 Islands and the titled Legends of the 7 Islands feel a cold illusion. This beast tamer of Dong Huang, he's warming up. This brat, he was using the opponents in every round to gradually adapt to stronger strength. He was moving his body and warming up. His goal was very big. He can't be warming up, right? At this moment, the girl in JK also sensed something sensitively. Her face was pale. How could there be such a monster in Dong Huang? She quickly looked at the strongest master of the new generation of the 7 Islands who should be guarding the 8th level, the 1000 River 100 Gods. This strongest master of the new generation of the 7 Islands, who was full of confidence just now, was already covered in sweat. His brown hair was completely soaked, and his expression was incomparably pale. Before the battle, his heart was already thumping. 100 God, what's wrong with you, 100 God? Are you feeling unwell? Qian Chuan was extremely silent. It indeed seemed a little uncomfortable. Was it too late to change now? He felt that at this rate, he would also be insta-killed if he went up. Son of a B*TCH. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have pretended. What kind of monster was Dong Huang's beast tamer? Who would save him? Were there any seniors who didn't like this guy who could show up instead of him? Help! Chapter 583, Battling the number 1 person below Legend of the 7 Islands. Chapter 583, Battling the number 1 person below Legend of the 7 Islands. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. At this moment, Xiyu had already reached the 7th level. The guardian of the 7th level was a monk in a black robe. Seeing this scene, Qian Chuan, who was guarding the 8th level, took a deep breath and still went down to prepare resolutely. The legends of the 7 islands, Legend Zhu Qianyao, Legend Su Zijin, and the others were silent the whole time. He had no intention of changing the Guardian at the last minute in the first 8 levels. It was mainly because this Lu Bai was too strange and too strong. Even if they wanted to deliberately target him, for a time, the 7 islands couldn't find anyone in the range of a top-notch master. At this moment, the Legend of the Warring States looked at a middle-aged beast tamer from the 7 islands on the sky ship. He was wearing a black tight battlesuit with red laminated armor on the outside. There was a long saber at his waist. Sensing that the legend was looking at him, the middle-aged beast tamer with messy hair also looked at the other party. His gaze was calm, as if he didn't have much emotion. Then, he nodded. "I'll give it a try." "We're not trying, we have to win." The Legend of the Warring States gaze sent a signal. This man was the strongest level 6 beast tamer in the 7 islands. It was him who guarded the 9th level of the champion's path and interrupted the path of the strongest master of the new generation of the 7 islands, the Thousand River 100 God. He was called Demon Sword. No matter what, we can't let Dong Huang's beast tamer pass the 9th level. The gaze of the Legend of the Warring States was filled with command. 28 million. At the same time, cries of surprise came from the sky ship again. Below, Shiyu had already collided with the monk guarding the 7th level. However, this collision made the beast tamers of Dong Huang and the 7 islands extremely annoyed. Because the situation was still the same as the previous stages. Under Shiyu's eruption, the opponent was frozen without any resistance. Shiyu continued forward. At this moment, no matter how slow they were, a group of beast tamers holding energy detectors could discover the pattern. Almost every new level, the ice element pet beside Shiyu would erupt with an extra 2 million energy points. Shiyu and the others had been maintaining this overwhelming attack. In other words, if Shiyu and the others could continue, the energy value they erupted with in the 8th level could even reach 30 million. Monster! Mr. Yu, the geniuses of your country have really broadened my horizons. I wonder why he isn't ranked in the sequence of Dong Huang if he's so powerful? At this moment, when he thought of how this Lu Bai didn't have any ranking on Dong Huang's sequence ranking, he felt confused. This way, there was not even a reference for them to study. He looked at Ji Feng, Nin Tuanming, Tong Yang, and the others. How strong would these people be? Heavenly King Zhu, who was ranked 11th, had already been figured out by the 7 islands because he had been carrying out public competitions. They could still understand and accept Zhu Yun's strength. However, how strong were those beast tamers in the top 10? This was something the 7 islands couldn't determine. This Lu Bai was so strong, his strength was definitely enough to rank at the top of Dong Huang, but how were the others compared to this Lu Bai? The Legend of the Warring States era wanted to know very much. As you can see, his health isn't very good, so he didn't register for the sequence battle from the start. Tyrannical Sea Legend said, however, from the understanding I obtained from his teacher, his strength is definitely not weaker than non-legendary beast tamers in the top 10 of the other sequences. The Legend of the Warring States looked at Lu Bai walking in the snow in silence. This was called poor health? He St80 climbed the mountain himself if he was in poor health? He had been climbing for 2 to 3 hours, but he didn't seem tired. Next, his opponent is the strongest top-notch master of the new generation of our 7 islands, said the Legend of the Warring States. If I remember correctly, the strongest master of the new generation in Dong Huang is Dr. Shiyu, right? Sequence 5, Shiyu, the number 1 person below the Legend of Dong Huang. Because he had developed the mechanical phantom beast system, Shiyu's name quickly spread throughout the 7 islands and Shenfeng. Yeah. Although Lu Bai is not bad, he should still be a little inferior to Shiyu. Legend Sea Tyrant nodded. It was very reasonable to say this, he was inferior because he wasn't using his full power. He wasn't lying. The Legend of the Warring States was confused. Initially, before the Dong Huang exchange team planned to come to the 7 islands, the 7 islands had tried their best to invite Shiyu to visit the 7 islands for an exchange. However, Dong Huang directly rejected this, saying that Shi Yu was not free. Regarding this, the Seven Islands was also helpless. If it were them, they would definitely protect such a genius in the country well and not let him run around. Shi Yu wouldn't come. At the start, the Seven Islands sighed and felt that they had missed an opportunity to rope in a super genius. But from the looks of it, if Dr. Shi Yu, who was stronger than this Lu Bai according to the tyrannical sea legend, came, wouldn't the path of champion be cleared faster? It's already 28 million. He can't continue to increase his strength, right? Legend of the Warring States gritted his teeth in his heart. How could he erupt like this? I can't make a judgment either, tyrannical sea legend said with a smile. How are Lu Qingyi, Ji Feng, and the others compared to this Lu Bai? The legend couldn't help but ask again. The tyrannical sea legend said, well, I can't say for sure. Almost all Lu Qingyi's pets mastered the mythical revival. After the eruption, her energy level was basically guaranteed at 20 million. As for Ji Feng, the power of the skills released by his pet after being enhanced by talent would not be inferior to this level. Chapter 584, Battling the Number 1 Person Below the Legend of the Seven Islands, 2. Chapter 584, Battling the Number 1 Person Below the Legend of the Seven Islands, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. It was hard to say. It was mainly because he didn't want to answer the other party. At this moment, the tyrannical sea legend was relaxed. His original worry was gone. It looked like it wasn't difficult for Shi Yu to pass the 9 levels. It was stable now. At this moment, the heart of the legend of the Warring States skipped a beat. Hard to say? Then it was about the same? Why were there so many geniuses in Dong Huang? 20 years ago, it wasn't that ridiculous. Was this tyrannical sea legend for real or was he bragging? This guy is too stable. Did he challenge that ruin back then? At this moment, Zhu Yun and the others also looked at Shi Yu, who was walking forward, in shock and extremely curious. What would the outcome of the skill of freezing time versus the skill of mysterious space be? He didn't know which was stronger, this ice pet or that void mantis. At this moment, even Ji Feng had to look at this Lu Bai solemnly. After a comparison, he actually realized that unless he sent out his trump card, no matter which pet he sent, it couldn't be as outstanding as him in the first 7 levels. Another ridiculously strong guy has appeared, Ji Feng thought to himself. This was the second opponent of the same level that he felt he should be cautious against after Lu Qingyi. As for Shi Yu, Ji Feng had already given up struggling in the short term. The pressure brought by that iron-eating beast still made Ji Feng unable to breathe. He had already decided to challenge him after becoming a legend. The difference between battle talent and non-combat talent will become greater and greater. Ji Feng also believed in this principle. An hour later, as Shi Yu walked, Susu recovered. They walked to the next opponent. The opponent was another young man. His expression was serious as he looked at Shi Yu solemnly with the pet beside him, a black cat with 8 huge tails. I'm seeing Shi Yu, 100 God was just about to introduce himself as the strongest master of the new generation of the Seven Islands and end Shi Yu here, but in the next moment, a biting wind blew. Shi Yu didn't want to know too much at all. After seeing his opponent, he directly attacked. 30 million. This time, under Shi Yu's instructions, the ice snow saintess like Susu directly used the time power stored in her body to reach a new height. Before coming, it had eaten more than 10 times fruits. Its stomach even stored a year's worth of food, enough for Shi Yu and the others to squander. After the strong wind howled, the huge cat that had yet to grow into a 9-tailed cat and his beast tamer turned into works of art in the snow. He's far inferior to Ji Feng and Senior. Shi Yu was silent for a moment before continuing to the next level, leaving Qianchuan gradually losing consciousness in the snow in despair. I'm so stupid, really. Why did I come down even though I knew this was the outcome? 100 God. After Shi Yu easily defeated the strongest master of the new generation of the Seven Islands, he continued walking forward. On the sky ship, the JK girl who was sitting beside the 1,000 River 100 gods at the start was already completely silent. Didn't he say that there were 100 ways to deal with him? Didn't he say that he wouldn't exceed his level? That he would guard the 8th level and block all enemies? 4th place of the 7 islands, just like that. At this moment, on the sky ship, the new generation beast tamers of the 7 islands and all the top-notch masters who had come to guard the ship had ugly expressions. The expressions of the 2 ordinary legends and the titled legend began to become unstable. In the 7 Islands Association, there was also a ranking for the contestants of the world competition. Among the beast tamers under the age of 30, there were 2 legendary beast tamers on the 7 islands, their battle power ranked in the top 2. There was a beast tamer who had reached level 7 but had yet to nurture an overlord level pet. His battle power was ranked 3rd. Next was this 1,000 River 100 gods. His beast tamer level was level 6, his pet was a middle-level overlord race, the monarch level 9-tailed cat, and he was the strongest master of the new generation of the 7 islands. In the end, the 4th-ranked beast tamer in this 7 islands world tournament still couldn't withstand a single move from this Lu Bai. Is this the difference between the upper 4 countries and the lower 3 countries? At this moment, the expressions of some of the beast tamers on the 7 islands changed. They were clearly shocked by the situation in front of them. Among the totem factions, some totems ranked the 7 countries. Among them, Dong Huang, Shenfeng, Shui Yuan, and Rongguang were the 4 upper countries. Their overall strength was stronger, and they posed a greater threat to the totem factions. As for Minghua, the 7 islands, and Tingxiang, they were the lower 3 countries. Their overall strength was slightly inferior. Regarding this, the 7 islands were naturally unwilling to admit it. However, the current situation made them speechless. Today was destined to be a day of humiliation for the 7 islands beast tamers. Soon, the 1,000 River 100 god was brought back to the sky ship. Apart from him, the guardians of the 1st to 7th levels were also here. At this moment, the guardians were extremely uncomfortable. "Uncle, cut him down." After returning, 100 God immediately cursed in his heart and cheered for the beast tamer in the 9th level. The beast tamer of the 9th level of the champion path made the legends of the 7 islands take a deep breath. They completely didn't expect things to develop to this point so quickly. This was only the first day. He definitely couldn't let this Dong Huanglu bypass the 9th level. The 9th level. At this moment, even the usually serious tyrannical sea legend revealed a thick smile. Chapter 585, Battling the number 1 person below the legend of the 7 islands, 3. Chapter 585, Battling the number 1 person below the legend of the 7 islands, 3. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. He was very happy. Seeing this, the legend of the Warring State snorted and said, "The first 8 levels are only the foundation. The 9th level is the core of the bet. Although this Lu Bai is not bad, this is the end." In that case, is the guardian of the 9th level very strong? Legend Slao Shuang smiled and asked Legend Zhu Qianyao beside her. Legend Zhu Qianyao was also very conflicted at this moment. After all, if they lost this bet, it would have a huge impact on them. Mr. Demon Blade is considered the number 1 person below the legends of our 7 islands. There's naturally no need to talk about his strength. Zhu Qianyao took a deep breath and said, "Letting the number 1 person below the legendary level guard the stage. Is this champion path really here to help the younger generation?" On the seat, Dong Huang's 4th place, the legendary noble son Jiang Qianyang, said, "The number 1 person below the legends of the 7 islands in the 9th level, the overlord level ferocious beast in the 10th level. The 7 islands had no intention of rewarding the younger generation with legendary resources at all, right? They were far from being as generous as the Dong Huang sequence tournament, directly taking out 5 legendary resources as a reward. How can one break through the limit without being challenged? If the new generation is inferior to the older generation, they will become more and more backward." Legend Suzijin looked at this rich 2nd generation heir of Dong Huang in a low voice. "Destroy him, destroy him, destroy him." As for Old Master Ku of Bureau 11, he couldn't wait anymore. They were just short of one level. As long as he shattered this number one person below the legends of the Seven Islands, he could explore the ruins and mystic realms of the Seven Islands. Is it Senior Demon Blade's turn? The beast tamers on the Seven Islands had been holding their breaths. Because Dong Huang's Lu Bai had too strong a momentum. He instantly defeated the first 8 levels all the way, and his unstoppable aura was like a huge mountain that suppressed the top masters of the Seven Islands until they couldn't breathe. Be it the top masters of the new generation on the Seven Islands or the top masters of the older generation, when they saw Shi Yu's heaven-defying performance along the way, their hearts trembled. They couldn't believe it, but they were helpless. Because they could clearly determine that they were completely no match for this Dong Huang monster. None of the Seven Island beast tamers felt good to be flaunted in their own territory. Therefore, when the number one person below the legends of the Seven Islands, Demon Sword, waited silently in the valley of the 9th level, the beasts of the Seven Islands felt the flames of hope again. Just as the legend of the Warring State said, the 9th level was indeed completely different from the first 8 levels. Back then, the Thousand River 100 gods also easily passed the first 8 levels. After resting, they relied on their relatively full state to challenge the 9th level. However, it was just a slash. Demon Blade only used one slash to finish off the strongest master of the new generation of the Seven Islands and the genius who had defeated many top-notch masters of the older generation. Top-notch master Demon Blade. This beast tamer's reputation on the Seven Islands was greater than most legendary beast tamers. Demon Blade. As Shi Yu and Susu walked in front of this beast tamer wearing armor, a long saber at his waist, and a face filled with vicissitudes, the atmosphere seemed to have frozen. At this moment, Shi Yu could also feel the difference between the person in front of him and the first 8 guardians. At that moment, Tyrannical Sea Legend, Legend Xiao Shuang, Jiang Qianyang, and the others also narrowed their eyes slightly and recalled this figure. Demon Blade, Shen Dai. 20 years ago, he represented the Seven Islands in the world competition. Although the real dazzling ones in the world tournament were those legendary geniuses, the gods of the top masters at that time also obtained a lot of attention. As a super genius back then, had he not broken through to the legendary level yet? Thinking about it carefully, it seemed normal. Countless people looked at the saber at his waist. Just like his name, this was a demon saber. It was a demon soldier unearthed from a legendary ruin on the Seven Islands. At that time, countless geniuses from the Seven Islands wanted to obtain the recognition of this demon soldier, but their life force was greatly reduced by the backlash and they almost died. This was a demon saber that could devour the life force of beast tamers at any time after the contract. It was born in ancient times, in the era when antique swords could still nurture spirits. It was a powerful weapon that had been artificially forged. Legendary beast tamers found weapons evil and were unwilling to contract and nurture them. Ordinary beast tamers didn't have the strength or capital to contract them. Initially, the Seven Islands Association planned to give up on this demon soldier. The Shen Dai appeared. But at this moment, he appeared. He had an extremely rare transfer talent and successfully raised the Demon Blade with this talent. The transfer talent could transfer some of the damage and consumption of the beast tamer to the contracted pet. At the start, he let other pets consume their life force in his place. Later on, he suppressed the Demon Blade and transferred the life force lost to the Demon Blade himself, making the Demon Blade admit defeat. The growth of Shen Dai was very bumpy. Although he contracted a powerful weapon like the Demon Blade, he also missed the best opportunity to break through to the legendary level in order to suppress it. Be it top-notch masters of the older generation or top-notch masters of the new era, they had all heard the story of this senior Demon Blade and knew his strength. With just one person and one saber, borrowing the Demon Blade cursed skill, he could display strength comparable to overlords. Young man, this is the end. Demon Blade Shen Dai stood not far from Shi Yu and slowly pulled out the Demon Blade. This was a sword that was filled with purple mist and emitted powerful evil thoughts. My name is Shen Dai. They all call me Demon Soldier Master or Demon Blade Shen Dai. Uncle, you also play with swords. Shi Yu realized that the other party's aura was rising steadily. It was rare for him to talk nonsense with this guardian. Chapter 586, Battling the number 1 person below the Legend of the Seven Islands, 4. Chapter 586, Battling the number 1 person below the Legend of the Seven Islands, 4. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Because this uncle indeed looked strong. He and the demon blade seemed to have entered a state of fusion, possession, and symbiosis. It was as if their bodies were filled with energy fluctuations that gradually rose to 31.91 million. As the aura of the demon blade god generation rose to a terrifying level, purple patterns appeared all over its body. Zheng Hai, Zhu Yun, and the others from Dong Huang couldn't help but be shocked. It was actually more ridiculous than Lu Bai's pet. Were these people really only level 6 beast tamers? Were those pets really only monarch level? It's a little troublesome, Ji Feng muttered. Dong Huang's legend also revealed a serious expression. At the moment, the other party had definitely used a skill with huge side effects. However, because of the existence of the talent transfer, the side effects were transferred to the other pets in the beast taming space, causing him to not be affected much. I remember that all the pets he contracted are of the possession type, right? The tyrannical sea legend's gaze was deep. He only used a demon saber and was already so powerful. If all the pets possessed him and he couldn't be too injured as a transfer container and could let the pets bear it themselves, how strong would he be? This number 1 person below the Seven Island Legends was indeed worthy of his name. It was equivalent to a low-level Emperor Wu. Unfortunately, his future was delayed because of a demon saber. At this moment, Tyrannical Sea Legend and the others also looked at Shi Yu. Just now, Shi Yu's pet had also erupted with 30 million energy points. It might not be impossible to fight, but at the 9th level, it was probably not that easy. Do you have anything to say? At this moment, on the canyon battlefield, when Demon Blade God saw Shi Yu say, "You also play with swords," he was immediately confused. He looked at the ice elemental life form beside Shi Yu. Indeed, this humanoid ice life form also held a sword. However, Yao Dao didn't think that the two could be compared. It's nothing. It's just that I also know a beast tamer who's very good at wielding a sword. Unfortunately, he didn't come to the Seven Islands, Shi Yu said calmly. That person was the number 1 person below the Legend of Dong Huang, Shi Yu. If it weren't for the fact that Susu wanted to clear the level and couldn't expose Kai Tong's sword spirit form, Shi Yu really wanted to sacrifice 2 scapegoats to fight this uncle. At this moment, as the two parties faced each other, the atmosphere froze to the extreme. The beast tamers on the Seven Islands didn't believe that Shi Yu could still pass this level. Is that so? Shen Dai didn't care about the beast tamer Shi Yu mentioned at all. Boom! Demon Blade Shen Dai swung his saber. A sword aura that was nearly 10 meters tall and filled with evil aura directly swept up an overwhelming power, shaking the mountains on both sides of the canyon, blowing away the stagnant clouds in the sky, and turning into a light that slashed at Susu beside Shi Yu with endless curses. This power made the beast tamers of the Seven Islands and the guardians who had been insta-killed by Shi Yu feel their hearts tremble. This attack was definitely stronger than any attack Shi Yu had displayed just now. This guy was done. Senior Demon Blade was indeed powerful. If you have the ability, insta-kill me again. Just as Qian Chuan, Bai Shen, and the other new generation geniuses were shouting in their hearts, and Ji Feng and the other Dong Huang geniuses had serious expressions, no one realized that Shi Yu's expression was still calm. Regarding this, Shi Yu only watched calmly. In the next moment, all the Seven Island beast tamers holding the energy index were stunned. This was because the value used to detect the energy value of the Demon Saber, 31,910,000, had changed on Shi Yu. Impossible! Seeing that Shi Yu's pet could still increase the energy value on the basis of 30 million, these Seven Island beast tamers instantly found it difficult to accept. What was even more difficult to accept was that this time, it wasn't just an increase of 2 million. 10 million. 15 million. 20 million quickly jumping values didn't stop at 32 million. 32 million, 35 million. 40 million. 45 million! The energy value jumped at an extremely fast speed, making almost every beast tamer of the 7 islands widen their eyes. They opened their mouths wide and looked at the value in disbelief. Crack! On the platform, the chairs of the 3 legends of the 7 islands were suddenly cracked by them. They also revealed shocked gazes, not believing the scene in front of them no matter what. A level 6 beast tamer and a monarch level pet were already very powerful if they could increase their energy value to 10 million. Pets could be called top-notch monarchs, located at the top of the monarch level. Raising the energy value of a monarch level pet to 20 million and reaching the lowest standard of the monarch race overlord level was already 1 in 100 million. It was rare in the world. At this level, raising the pet's energy value to 30 million was already very against common sense. And now, Shiyu's pet was no longer just erupting with 30 million energy waves. Instead, it had raised its energy level to the same standard as the overlord race. More than 40 million! How was this possible? At this moment, a terrifying energy wave on Susu's body swept over like an ice-cold hurricane. Just a snowstorm blew gently, and it instantly froze the demonic sword aura that shot into the sky, making the pupils of the demon blade Shandai opposite suddenly tremble, revealing an incomprehensible expression. You guys? He looked at the young man opposite him and found it difficult to understand. Even in the world competition 20 years ago, he had never seen such a ridiculous top-notch master in the other 6 countries. You're very strong. Shiyu felt that this guardian of the 9th level was the only person who could be considered a powerful guy. Unfortunately, his opponent was an overlord race life form that had eaten the full level time fruit and mastered infinite devour. In front of the power of time, only the appearance of beasts that had truly stepped into the overlord domain could pose a threat to them. Boom! In an instant, the number 1 person below the 7 islands legend still didn't escape the same outcome as the previous guardian. It was frozen in the ice-cool time and stared in disbelief. At this moment, the legendary 7 Islands War State, the legendary mechanic Zhu Qianyao, and the legendary beast tamer Ling Mujin stood up together, their gazes incomparably shocked. The other top-notch masters also had their values almost shattered. They looked at the battle situation in the valley below in a daze. The ground had already become an icy plain, and the sky had already frozen. The continuous mountains on both sides instantly became snow mountains. On Shiyu and the others' path, the number 1 person below the legends of the 7 islands completely turned into ice. How? How? The 7 island beast tamers led by the 1000 River 100 god stuttered. His words were stuck in his throat and he couldn't say anything. It was as if the cold air had forced its way here and frozen his thoughts. If you have the ability, insta-kill me again. F*CK, among the beast tamers of Dong Huang, Zheng Hai, Zhu Yun, and the others looked at this scene in disbelief. Wait, they looked at the tyrannical sea legend and the others stiffly. Was he sure this was their Dong Huang's younger generation? Are you sure this was cultivated by that President Yi? What exactly was going on? What exactly happened? This guy's battle power was wrong, completely wrong. Not to mention them, even legends like Dong Huang were stunned. They didn't know why Shiyu, who didn't send out his trump card, was so fierce. What a joke! This guy also insta-killed the number 1 person below the legends of the 7 islands? Even if he was the number 1 person below the legendary level in Dong Huang, this was too ridiculous. What was going on? Could it be that this pet was Shiyu's true trump card? At this moment, Jiang Tianyang, who was 4th in the sequence, was extremely stunned. He also knew Shiyu's true identity and knew that this guy was the number 1 person below 5th in the sequence behind him. It was said that Shiyu was the number 1 person below the legendary level, but why did he feel that this guy's ridiculous ice element pet could already threaten his trump card? And it was said that Shiyu's trump card didn't seem to be this guy? What a joke! Suddenly, the legendary young master, who was originally excited to watch the show, felt that his own safety couldn't be guaranteed. This guy, after returning from the 7 Islands harvest. What if he came and challenged him? He'd be in trouble. Chapter 587, Shocking the 7 Islands, 1. Chapter 587, Shocking the Seven Islands, 1. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. 9th level, in the valley. A cold wind blew, and ice clouds covered the sky. As Shiyu's mysterious ice pet erupted with dazzling power and instantly shattered the number 1 person below the legends of the Seven Islands, the beast tamers of the 2 countries fell silent. 45 million. Such a ridiculous situation made the Seven Island legends tremble. The 9th level was cleared just like that? All the way, instantly? This doesn't make sense. Thousand River 100 God widened its eyes and said with all its might. Just as he finished speaking, Susu beside Shiyu slowly closed its eyes, its energy falling to a low point. Its entire body seemed to have disintegrated, gradually turning into an ice flower. Its body became an ice elemental core like an ice bead, as if it had finally exhausted its strength this time. Seeing that Shiyu's pet had finally lost its battle power, the beast tamers of the Seven Islands were still not happy at all. It suddenly erupted with overlord-level power. If it could still fight even after that, that would be even more unscientific. But now, Shiyu had already cleared the 9th level. What was the difference if the pet lost its battle power or not? Moreover, the challenger on the road to champion had a total of 10 hours to challenge. There were a total of 6 contracted pets to use. Even if this pet lost its battle power now, who knew if Shiyu could take out other more powerful pets? Who knew if this ice pet would recover later? In short, the beast tamers of the Seven Islands were completely afraid of this beast tamer named Lu Bai. Not only the new generation, but also the older generation. Even the legends standing at the top of the Seven Islands felt their hearts race as they looked at the young man below in shock. Ha ha ha, the 9th level is cleared. After being stunned, Tyrannical Sea Legend laughed out loud. He laughed very happily and instantly felt that this trip was not wasted. As for the legend of the Warring States beside him, his expression was extremely ugly. He never expected such a ridiculous situation to happen. Although Demon Blade only sent 1 pet, under the effect of transferring talent, the damage and consumption of him and the Demon Blade could be transferred to other pets to a certain extent. In fact, to a certain extent, it was no longer purely 1 vs 1, but it still followed the rules. After all, using one's beast-taming talent was forbidden. Facing such a Demon Blade, he had never thought that anyone could win. Really? Not bad. The legend of the Warring States couldn't maintain his calm anymore. He took a deep breath and kept comforting and hypnotizing himself. It was nothing, it was nothing. It was not a big deal. It was just that he couldn't buy Dong Huang resources at a low price during the transaction. The normal price was acceptable, and it was profitable. Didn't he just have to let Dong Huang explore the unsold ruins mystic realm of the Seven Islands? He didn't believe that Dong Huang's beast tamer could gain anything in a few days. As long as Dong Huang didn't pass the 10th level, it was fine. Letting Dong Huang use the mythical ruins would really consume a lot of energy. It wasn't a big problem. Not a big problem. The 10th level was definitely not something that non-legendary beast tamers could pass. This Lu Bai. Don't tell me his other pets also have such strength? Legend of the Warring States gritted his teeth. If other pets weren't inferior to this mysterious ice pet, that would be difficult to understand. But no matter what, he had to suppress this guy in the 10th level. This, a Legend Sea Tyrant couldn't say for sure again. However, at this moment, he was also inclined to believe that this blue sea sprite reincarnation was either second or first in Shiyu's team. Look! At this moment, someone suddenly realized that Shiyu had stopped moving. After he sat beside the frozen Demon Blade Shandai, he seemed to be resting on the spot. Seeing this, countless people cried. Did this guy finally start to rest on the spot? Did he finally stop challenging? Rest for a while before continuing, Shiyu said. Shiyu's performance made the Seven Islands heave a sigh of relief. Now, the Seven Islands had also determined that the Tyrannical Sea Legend was most likely not lying. The reason why this guy's pet was so strong was definitely because of a special cultivation talent, so that was why he didn't use his battle talent the whole time unless he was hiding his strength. Since he didn't use battle talent or skills like possession, the one resting was definitely not Xiyu himself, but his pet. This Lu Bai still plans to challenge using this pet. Soon, the people of the Seven Islands judged. After all, if they wanted to use other pets, the difference between resting and not was not that big. The reason why this result made the beast tamers of the Seven Islands heave a sigh of relief was that since he was facing an overlord-level pet, Xiyu didn't plan to change pets. Instead, he took the opportunity to rest and still used this pet that had consumed too much energy. This meant that frost pet was 100% Xiyu's trump card. Xiyu was only confident of challenging an overlord when he used this pet. After seeing that Xiyu didn't have other reliable pets, they relaxed. If Xiyu could still take out other powerful pets, their hearts would really collapse. One monster pet was better than two. No one cares about this, uncle. When Xiyu sat down to rest, a miniature summoning array appeared on his fingertip. A wisp of dark blue ghost fire floated out and floated towards the demon blade Shandai. In the next moment, the blue ghost fire melted the ice and snow. The frozen demon blade and divine generation gradually recovered their consciousness, but they were still in indescribable shock. Xiyu immediately supported the ninth guardian who was about to fall with one hand and looked in the direction of the sky ship. Chapter 588, Shocking the Seven Islands, 2. Chapter 588, Shocking the Seven Islands, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Legend Ju, Legend of the Warring State, said to Legend Ju below after a moment of silence. Yes. Legend Ju nodded and immediately teleported the fallen demon blade god back to the sky ship to recover. At the same time, Xiyu yawned and continued resting. After thinking about it, I should replicate it. Confirm recording. Skill, Demon Blade Curse. Level, Super Level. Introduction, it's an undead skill. It can obtain the power of ghosts and gods by killing enemies and can use the power of ghosts to strengthen itself limitlessly. The greater the increase, the stronger the curse on the body, and the easier it was to lose oneself. At the same time, in the state of a ghost god, the attack had the power of a curse. It could also make the attacked enemy lose themselves. Good skill. This skill was very strong. The feeling it gave Xiyu was that it wasn't inferior to 11's inner power, or Senior Lu's mythical revival strengthening skill. This skill should be the core skill of this demon blade guy. It could allow them to obtain incomparably powerful power without legendary power. Although it looked a little evil, Xiyu didn't care. He had copied it for Kai Tong to learn. Kai Tong's spirit release originally relied on killing enemies to increase proficiency. Its bone sword also had to kill enemies to be useful. Now that it had a similar skill, there was nothing to worry about. As long as it was useful. As for the curse. In any case, with Susu's cleansing, these curses were just for show. In addition to the energy suppression, the instant kill just now was actually also the suppression of the cleansing power. With Susu around, how could Kai Tong and the others lose themselves? If they were afraid of this, it was better to worry about losing themselves in the points. Moreover, they had also sensed the nature of the power of ghosts and gods just now. It was very conflicting with the power of the sun that burned the darkness. It was also very suitable to be the energy for the interlocking sword. That's right. This way, Kai Tong didn't have to worry about encountering an awkward situation where the level of the nether ghost flame couldn't keep up with the level of the young flame. At the moment, Kai Tong really had a little too few super skills. Apart from Ling, it was the least in Shiyu's team. The key was that Ling still had a bunch of super skills waiting to be taught. Apart from 3 super racial skills, Kai Tong actually didn't have any teachable super skills. Considering this, Xiyu decisively chose to replicate this skill after discovering that it was not bad. It was good to go abroad to train. Otherwise, where could he find such a skill that matched Kai Tong in the country? Apart from that, that demon blade god's beast taming talent feels pretty good. Unfortunately, the other party isn't a mortal enemy. Otherwise maybe he could steal that talent despite it resulting in death. Shi Yu, who was in deep thought with his eyes closed, had clearly discovered the uniqueness of the other party's talent just now. It was a talent that could transfer its injuries and consumption to pets. If he had this talent, didn't that mean that the physical fitness and life lost could also be divided among the pets? Wasn't this infinitely increasing points? However, Shi Yu wasn't sure if he could achieve such an effect. After all, if he wanted to plunder transfer talent, transferring talent wouldn't appear on him. It wouldn't let him have a third talent. Instead, it would be absorbed by the talent bead and make it a talent tool. At that time, if he wanted to activate the talent transfer, he could only use the talent bead as a transceiver and transfer it to his pet. It was similar to using the awakening mirror. However, considering that the level of the talent he had plundered might not be very high and could not continue to increase, Shi Yu felt that the transfer talent was a little useless. After all, when his level was high, if the transfer range didn't increase, the transfer talent bead would be useless. It wasn't as practical as a tool like the awakening mirror. He needed a special talent that could display permanent strategic value even if it couldn't be upgraded after plundering. Therefore, ordinary attribute strengthening talents, which relied very much on the increase in beast tamer level and required subsequent development, weren't Shi Yu's first choice. When Shi Yu closed his eyes to rest, the sky ship was already in a mess. On the beast tamer's side, when they saw Shi Yu resting seriously, they also started to place their attention on the 10th level like Shi Yu. From Shi Yu's state, he was clearly preparing for the 10th level. Moreover, his seriousness was much greater than the previous 9th level. The 10th level, Overlord level creature. The 7 islands probably won't let a top-notch Overlord guard the 10th level, right? The tyrannical sea legend looked at the war state legend. HMPH, the 7 islands aren't that immoral, said the legend of the warring states. That's good, tyrannical sea legend said with a smile. As long as the 7 islands didn't place the top-notch overlords in the 10th level, he still had some expectations for Shi Yu, Jifeng, and the others. Of course, this anticipation was very small. Tyrannical Sea Legend also knew that even ordinary overlords weren't so easy to defeat in a head-on battle. Although the Blue Sea Sprite reincarnation had erupted with more than 40 million energy points just now, which was ridiculously high, this was only the low level of overlord-level creatures. Ordinary overlords and conventional overlords refer to overlords with about 50 million energy points. The proficiency of super-racial skills didn't exceed the perfect level too much. Back then, the Gem Cat was at this level. But even so, it could still become the guardian of one of the 9 top universities of Donghuang. It was obvious how rare an overlord was. After the Blue Sea Sprite reincarnation erupted with such power, it was exhausted after one attack. However, for ordinary overlords, it was not difficult to use such an attack, nor was it difficult to resist. Chapter 589, Shocking the 7 Islands, 3. Chapter 589, Shocking the 7 Islands, 3. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Therefore, it was extremely difficult for monarchs to defeat overlords above their level. They needed various favorable conditions. For example, the environment, attributes, its abilities to counter, beast-taming talent, and so on. Even if a top-notch master was said to be able to resist an overlord for a short period of time, that was built on the foundation of all pets. And if he wanted to kill an overlord, he had to rely on various factors. For example, although Jifeng, Tong Yang, Shi Yu, and the others had battle results of killing overlords, it was actually very difficult to replicate. Jifeng had used the energy crystal mineral vein to set up the array in advance and planned for a long time to lure the enemy in. Then, with the help of his talent, he communicated with a large amount of natural power and combined it with the power of many pets. Only then did he successfully erupt with a dazzling attack head-on and kill the other party before the overlord ferocious beast could react in time. As for Tong Yang, he relied on carefully concocted poisons to slowly kill with various methods. He still didn't fight head-on. In a head-on battle, who would want to take the enemy's poison? Even Shi Yu's destruction of the 2 overlords was mostly a tactical component, not a frontal confrontation. Moreover, ever since then, baby ginseng skill cooldown had not recovered for months. Therefore, it was really difficult to defeat the other party head-on while the Overlord was fighting seriously. Zheng Hai, Ji Feng, and the others looked at Shi Yu solemnly again, curious about what he would do. I hope it's an easy guy to deal with. There's only one chance. Shi Yu rested for 2 hours before setting off again. This time was already very fast for the various beast tamers watching the battle on the sky ship. They looked at Shi Yu, who continued walking forward, with burning gazes. As for a huge beast at the end of Crown Rainbow Mountain, which had been guarding the end of the Road of Champions, it suddenly opened its eyes. Roar! It walked towards the cliff step by step, revealing its domineering figure. When it roared, the wind and clouds changed, and a rainbow light flashed. This was a huge tiger more than 5 meters long, tall and powerful, covered in golden hair. The moment it roared, Shi Yu, the beast tamer of Dong Huang, and the beast tamers of the 7 Islands looked up at the mountain. Name: Heavenly Cloud Tiger. Attributes: Wind, Light. Race level: Mid-level Overlord. Level of growth: Overlord. Energy points: 54,910,000. Nink. The moment this huge tiger appeared, Zhu Yun was shocked. F*CK, the 7 Islands really didn't treat humans well. This huge tiger didn't look easy to fight. The Heavenly Cloud Tiger is the overlord of the Crown Rainbow Mountain range. It has been designated as the guardian of the 10th level from the start. It has always been like this. Even the beast tamers of the 7 Islands have to face it if they come to the 10th level. Legend of the Warring State slowly said to the tyrannical sea legend beside him, meaning that they weren't targeting them. This huge tiger, the 4th-ranking Jiang Tianyang, was stunned. So, is the Path of Champion really prepared for the young people of the 7 Islands? In his opinion, that demon blade Shandai just now was already very overboard. And the path to clearing the championship still required him to defeat this thing. As expected, the 7 Islands didn't want anyone to pass. As expected, they didn't want to give their challenger legendary resources. Wind, Light. Tiger. Mid-level Overlord race, Legend Sea Tyrant was stunned. This was troublesome. At the side, the Legend of the Warring States muttered to himself quietly, if you have the ability, insta-kill it again. Instant kill. So what if that ice element pet erupted with more than 50 million energy points? 70? 80? It was still impossible to instantly kill the Overlord-level Heavenly Cloud Tiger. This was the suppression of life level. Apart from having a high energy level, Overlord-level creatures' physiques would also undergo a qualitative change. Their affinity for natural power would also undergo a qualitative change. Although the Heavenly Cloud Tiger wasn't a top-notch Overlord, it was definitely strong among conventional Overlords. It wasn't something a hooligan Overlord like the Prediction Owl could compare to. After all, its race was the King of Beasts. The 7 Islands indeed didn't think that their contestants could defeat it, but that didn't mean that the 7 Islands couldn't pass it. The Path of the Champion was originally set up to test and choose the elites of the 7 Islands. As long as the time was right, they would let Shandai and the Heavenly Cloud Tiger go easy and let the 7 Islands geniuses pass and obtain legendary resources. There would be rewards and training. However, at this moment, the 7 Islands definitely wouldn't let the Heavenly Cloud Tiger go easy on Dong Huang's contestant. Therefore, this battle was unsolvable. The Legend of the Warring States didn't believe that Liu Bai could still pass this level. It's also a cat. Steady, at this moment, Shi Yu also noticed this big guy. For some reason, he suddenly heaved a sigh of relief. It wasn't a difficult undead overlord, nor was it a difficult mechanical overlord, nor was it a difficult elemental overlord. In terms of attributes, it didn't have fancy attributes like the spatial element. Moreover, it was a cat. There was hope. Let's go. Shi Yu took a deep breath and continued walking towards the mountain. After a long time, he climbed the mountain under everyone's gaze. The Crown Rainbow Mountain towered into the clouds. The wind was cold and the altitude was already relatively high. Shi Yu approached step by step. High above, the gaze of the Cloud Tiger also stared deeply at this challenger. As the overlord of the Crown Rainbow Mountain Range, the previous 9 battles had already fallen into its eyes. This young man was indeed different from the previous 7 island beast tamers. However, it was too simple to challenge it with just this level. Chapter 590, Shocking the 7 Islands, 4. Chapter 590, Shocking the 7 Islands, 4. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. As Shiyu approached, the atmosphere on the sky ship had already frozen to the extreme. Many gazes were waiting for Shiyu to enter the battle area. Why, at this moment, there was a strange phenomenon. Ever since Shiyu recalled his ice element pet to rest in the last battle, he had never continued to summon new pets. Be it the other pets or the ice element pet just now, he didn't summon them again. From the beginning to the end, Shiyu was climbing to the peak alone. They were about to approach the battle area. The Heavenly Cloud Tiger was not far away, but Shiyu still did not summon his pet. On the other side, the Heavenly Cloud Tiger's deterrence gaze locked onto the little and not far away. It was also very strange. No matter what, he definitely can't pass this level. The beast tamers of the 7 islands were extremely determined this time. Then, they saw Shiyu's footsteps suddenly stop before he entered the battle area. His gaze faced the huge tiger opposite him. "Human brat, come at me!" The Heavenly Cloud Tiger roared and looked at the beast tamer of Dong Huang in front of it mockingly. "Who gave you the illusion that we haven't entered the battle area?" Shiyu grinned. Then, Shiyu stepped into the battle area with a firm gaze. In the next moment, the pupils of the Heavenly Cloud Tiger constricted, and its expression changed drastically. Before challenging the champion, Shiyu looked at Susu in front of him and said, "Even if we erupt with all our strength through the time fruit and fight head-on, we won't be a match for Overlord-level creatures. Therefore, it's very difficult to pass the 10th level." Nink. Susu felt wronged. What should it do? 11 couldn't appear either. If it couldn't, it felt that Sister Kai Tong was also hard-pressed. However, it's not impossible. We can bet once. Do you remember that even if Baby Ginseng self-destructed, it would be very difficult to blow up the Earth Demon Ape that resisted with all its might? It would only blow it to half to death. Susu nodded. Your attack power is definitely much worse than Baby Ginseng's self-destruction. However, it's worth mentioning that Baby Ginseng's other target was destroyed. There was nothing left. Do you know why? Nink. Because Baby Ginseng had run into the other party's mouth, and the other party was not prepared at all, unlike the Earth Demon Ape. It was far away and even used various skills to be heavily guarded. Yes, so the only way we can pass the 10th level this time is to let the other party attack from the other party's weakest point without any defense. Moreover, the premise is that the other party isn't a difficult elemental or undead life form. It's not spatial either. Susu nodded and suddenly understood Shiyu's strategy. We want to enter the other party's body to attack. Baby Ginseng entered the other party's mouth because the other party took the initiative to eat it. And if you want to enter the other party's body, you can only take the initiative to enter, and you can't let the enemy discover you. As long as you enter the battle area, the challenge of the Path of the Champion is a field battle. There's no need to talk about virtue. Do you know what your greatest advantage is compared to 11, Buggy, Baby Ginseng, and Kai Tong? You're an elemental creature. You can elementalize in any form of water and ice elements. You're not easy to detect. You can break down your body into very small pieces and become one with nature. Apart from that, your multiplication skill is the only one in the team who has reached Dao proficiency. 11 can erupt with power that exceeds the limit through the giant transformation. You can too. Of course, the key to this battle is not the giant transformation, but the shrinking in the multiplication. The shrinking of the Dao proficiency. This, only you can master it, and the shrinking of Dao proficiency can make you even smaller than the smallest unit, even more than after Ling breaks down into the smallest unit. So small that it's even smaller than the unit of natural energy floating in the air. In this state, using the time fruit to seal the power and hide your aura is the best opportunity to enter the enemy's body. As long as you enter the enemy's body and instantly activate all your strength, the enemy will definitely be unable to resist. Even an overlord will find it difficult to resist the power erupting from the body. Moreover, you have the heavenly frost cold energy. It can make the enemy unable to react immediately and assist you in completing the attack. 0.1 seconds is sometimes enough to determine the winner. Susu widened its eyes. Was this all right? Wasn't this too sinister? If there's a skill, why not use it? Shiyu took a deep breath and said, of course, there's definitely some risk. I heard that Overlord-level creatures can sense danger. If the other party's mental strength is stronger and can predict danger, it's still very difficult. Therefore, right now we have to experiment with 11, Buggy, Baby Ginseng, and Kai Tong to see if they can detect it. Then, we can try with the totem-level cat teacher. If even it finds it difficult to detect, it's definitely more stable. Oh, in the end, I'll use its clone to test this power. It won't be good to kill the 7 island overlords. Not everyone has 11's physique. For example, the cat was already at the totem level, but it wasn't as sturdy as the monarch level 11. Who said that the path of the champion still had to be fought head-on? He could still do a frontal assassination. Tactics. Chapter 591, Shocking the 7 Islands, 5. Chapter 591, Shocking the 7 Islands, 5. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. As Shiyu stepped into the battle area, Susu, who had turned into a form invisible to the naked eye, had already approached the enemy's brain from the enemy's ear. At the same time, the moment Shiyu stepped into the battle area, he directly activated all his power through the power of time and directly erupted with the full power of the heavenly frost cold energy and blizzard through giant transformation. Boom! They were originally very close. In addition to the time freeze effect brought by the heavenly frost cold energy, the moment Susu displayed its strength, the heavenly cloud tiger couldn't react at all. At this moment, under everyone's gazes, just as Shiyu stepped into the battle area, the pupils of the heavenly cloud tiger constricted, and its expression changed drastically. Then, its entire body instantly froze and frost appeared. Then, an incomparably terrifying cold aura erupted from its body. Boom! Time fruit plus giant transformation plus blizzard plus heavenly frost cold energy. Ice Age. Under everyone's incomprehension and stunned gazes, Shiyu had just entered the battle area when the heavenly cloud tiger did not react at all. In an instant, the situation changed. The environment of heaven and earth changed directly. A violent snowstorm suddenly blew on the entire Crown Rainbow Mountain, turning into a snow mountain. The sky instantly darkened. As the wind and snow howled, it was as if the end of the world had arrived and an ice age had descended. At this moment, the overlord of the Crown Rainbow Mountain, the heavenly cloud tiger, had already become a frozen overlord like the previous guardian. Its gaze was filled with shock. Damn it! Somewhere on the sky ship, the gem cat was furious. As expected, it still used this sinister move. Moreover, it didn't expect Shiyu and the others to have actually used it as an experiment without informing it. Therefore, it either was too slow to sense it or realize it at all, so it gave Shiyu and the others confidence. Damn it, this matter wouldn't end until 100 million gem fruits. These guys were playing tactics, their hearts were dirty. It was time to develop a premonition skill. The cat was angry and planned to go back to Donghuang to ask the owl. It was mainly because the cat on the mountain was too miserable. In the eyes of the cat, everything in front of it could be traced, but in the eyes of those who didn't know, everything in front of them was really as ridiculous as the end of the world. Beast Tamer of Donghuang, Lu Bai. After stepping into the battle area. A gaze. The world was frozen. Even a powerful overlord. It was also insta-killed. Without any warning, an overlord that was considered high-end battle power in a country was sealed in ice. Impossible! The beast tamers of the 7 islands roared in unison. This time, the 7 islands legend, Demon Blade, and the others, who had recovered, along with the tyrannical sea legend and the other beast tamers of Dong Huang, seemed to have lost their minds. They looked at everything in front of them in disbelief, and their hearts were shocked to the extreme. It was very difficult to understand as they looked at the white-haired youth covering his mouth and coughing dryly in the snow. This, Jiang Tianyang, the fourth ranker of Dong Huang, was very shocked. He didn't understand at all. He widened his big eyes that were like light bulbs. Even for him, it wasn't easy to deal with this heavenly cloud tiger. He probably needed to use his beast-taming talent, but in front of him. What exactly was going on? Who could tell him? Jifeng, Zheng Hai, and the others had originally acknowledged this Liu Bai's strength highly. They felt that this person's strength was no longer inferior to theirs, but as this scene appeared, their expressions almost changed. Especially Jifeng, he thought of how much effort he had spent to kill an overlord. He thought of how nervous he was at that time. And now, this person, this Liu Bai, was actually fighting head-on. He actually froze an overlord under countless eyes, before anyone could react. Was this a sneak attack, or a head-on battle? This guy? At this moment, they felt that this guy might be even more terrifying than that Shiyu. Is it over? Standing at the top of the Crown Rainbow mountain range, Shiyu stretched out his hand. The already exhausted Susu gradually condensed into a frost snowball and collapsed in Shiyu's hand like an ice cream. This scene shocked the beast tamers on the sky ship. When? Just like the heavenly cloud tiger, they didn't discover the extremely small Susu the whole time. In this case, we've passed the 10th level, right? Shiyu's weak voice was extremely penetrative even in the snowstorm. Amidst the weak-looking frame, he was strong. He looked at the heavenly cloud tiger and then in the direction of the sky ship. His voice was like the whisper of a great demon king, echoing in the ears of every beast tamer and legend on the 7 islands. Their expressions changed drastically. They couldn't understand why such a beast tamer existed. Who exactly was this Liu Bai? What exactly was going on with that ice elemental pet? What exactly happened just now? 7 Islands region, Red God Island, Star Sea Island, Water Lake Island. Soon, the rulers of every island association. Soon, every legendary beast tamer of the 7 Islands received unbelievable news from the champion path of the Heavenly Rainbow Island. Even the titled legend, who stood at the top of the 7 Islands like the legend of the Warring States, received the news. Apart from the 7 Islands Valkyrie who had been in seclusion for decades and basically didn't govern, at this moment, every higher-up of the 7 Islands instantly obtained the information on the path of champions. They opened their mouths wide in unison, feeling that this news was a little fake, very fake. The younger generation of the Dong Huang exchange team challenged the path to the champion of the 7 Islands. A beast tamer of Dong Huang named Liu Bai commanded a mysterious ice pet to sweep through the 10 levels, instantly killing the strongest master of the new generation of the 7 Islands, instantly killing the number 1 person below the legendary level of the 7 Islands. Instantly killing the overlord of the Crown Rainbow mountain range, the overlord level heavenly cloud tiger. How was this possible? This unbelievable and ridiculous news instantly spread like a tornado to the upper echelons of the 7 Islands, making it difficult for them to understand. On Heavenly Rainbow Island, wasn't the legend of the Warring States using the Path of Champions to receive the Dong Huang exchange team? So now, what happened? On this day, the 7 Islands trembled. Every new beast tamer of the 7 Islands and every legendary beast tamer of the 7 Islands instantly remembered Liu Bai's famous name. This was the second super genius of Dong Huang that they remembered during this period of time. The previous one was called Shiyu. Chapter 592, Overlord, 1. Chapter 592, Overlord, 1. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Shiyu didn't expect to clear the championship path with just Susu. He didn't invest so many resources for nothing. After this battle, the 7 Islands trembled, and the situation began to change. Legend Xiao Shuang and the others' eyes revealed shock. As people who knew everything about Shiyu, it was very difficult to imagine that this was only the strength of Shiyu's single pet. Mr. Tien, we've cleared it, right? After the tyrannical sea legend was shocked, he smiled deeply. At this moment, the legendary Chen Jiangji's lungs exploded in anger and his heart bled. Did they have any morals? Now, he reacted. Just now, it was definitely a frontal attack, all right? That ice element pet used some method to deceive them and the Heavenly Cloud Tiger. It directly exploded in its body when the Heavenly Cloud Tiger wasn't paying attention and completed the sneak attack. They were thieves. They cheated an honest big cat. The Heavenly Cloud Tiger, who had roamed the Crown Rainbow mountain range for many years, never expected to be tricked like this. At this moment, the legend of the Warring States naturally didn't want to admit it. He even wanted to regret it. On the first day of the bet, he was stripped naked by the other party. Who could accept this? However, the legend of the Warring States also understood that as long as the Seven Islands had the tendency to go back on their word, the pressure on Dong Huang was not something the Seven Islands could withstand. At this moment, looking at the expression of the tyrannical sea legend, they were clearly determined to eat them alive. In national diplomacy, strength was the foundation. If Dong Huang was a small totem country, the Seven Islands could do whatever they wanted. However, as a big country with the power to destroy the Seven Islands, the Seven Islands could only pinch their noses and admit defeat. If he openly tore the contract, what awaited the Seven Islands might be the joint punishment of Dragon Palace City and Dong Huang. At that time, the things that had to be spat out wouldn't be covered even by several mythical resources. It's this Liu Bai won. At this moment, the legend of the Warring States had a heart attack and didn't want to talk at all. He was a little dizzy and found it difficult to breathe. Ji-Foam and the others also gulped and looked at the young man below. With a white flash, Shiyu was teleported back to the sky ship by legend Slao Shuang. I want to rest, Shiyu said just as he returned. All right. The tyrannical sea legend still had a thick smile and said, in that case, Mr. Tianjiang, then today's Champion Path Challenge will end here. Tomorrow, the other contestants of our Dong Huang will continue to challenge. The Seven Islands had given 5 challenge spots. It wasn't that Shiyu had cleared it alone. There was no need to fight the others. The benefits of several levels corresponded to individuals. Ji-Foam and the others definitely wouldn't miss it. There was also the time limit for Dong Huang to explore the Seven Island Ruins Mystic Realm. It was also determined by the number of people who cleared it. If one person cleared 9 levels, Dong Huang could explore and crack it for 10 days. If 2 people cleared it, it would be 20 days. If 3 people cleared it, it would be a month. Therefore, the more people who passed, the better. Apart from the Phoenix Mystic Realm, Dong Huang definitely wanted to try other ruins Mystic Realms. Therefore, in order to obtain more benefits, Dong Huang definitely had to let Ji-Foam and the others try challenging it in the next few days. However, the expressions of Zhu Yun and the others were uncertain. Son of EB*TCH, with Liu Bai's performance today, was he sure that the Seven Islands wouldn't target them tomorrow? From the original difficulty to hell difficulty. Legend Ju, go and help defrost the Heavenly Cloud Tiger. At this moment, the corners of the Warring States legend's mouth twitched. This big tiger had actually been frozen for so long and had yet to be unsealed. Trash! Moreover, as an overlord, it could actually be successfully ambushed. Trash! Next, the overlord of the 10th level had to be changed. Just now, Shiyu didn't dare to thaw the Heavenly Cloud Tiger, so now, the Seven Islands could only do it themselves. At the moment, the Heavenly Cloud Tiger's state of losing its ability to fight was more like being sealed in ice. With its overlord-level foundation, it probably still had a certain amount of battle power after it was unsealed. Shiyu was afraid that this thing would be unconvinced after defrosting and directly come to kill him. It was better to leave it to the people of the Seven Islands. And since he had already completed the challenge, he no longer wanted to stay in the Crown Rainbow mountain range. Liu Bai, impressive. At this moment, Tong Yang and the other Dong Huang contestants looked at the white-haired young man in front of them in surprise. As he sized up Shi Yu with all his might, Tong Yang thought to himself, what a good young man, but his body looks too poor. Brother, Zhu Yun smiled bitterly and said, you probably don't plan to participate in the sequence ranking after you go back, right? Damn, if this Lu Bai also participated in the sequence battle, wouldn't he be squeezed into 12th place? At that time, would there still be hope of getting into the top 10? World Tournament. This was an opportunity for him to upgrade to an international superstar. No matter what, he wanted to get into the top 10 and join in the fun. Cough, cough. I think so. Shi Yu smiled, instantly stopping Heavenly King Zhu's bitter smile. No. As expected, he wants to participate. Jifeng revealed a serious expression, feeling that it was dangerous. Cough, at this moment, Shi Yu felt that something was wrong more and more. Apart from Dong Huang's own people sizing him up crazily, the beast tamers of the 7 islands were also staring at him intently. This made Shi Yu a little panicked. No one should recognize him, right? He couldn't afford to reveal his identity. After the first day of the championship challenge, the sky ship began to fly away amidst the angry, violent, and frightened roars of the overlord of the Crown Rainbow Mountain Range. Chapter 593, Overlord, 2. Chapter 593, Overlord, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. As the name Lu Bai began to spread throughout the 7 islands, Shi Yu was already resting in his residence tiredly. On the 7 islands, they temporarily didn't have the time to entertain the people from Dong Huang. All of them had gone to deal with the aftermath of this incident. All kinds of exchange activities would change because of Shi Yu's challenge today. In the room, Shi Yu was resting while arguing with the gem cat. By the way, don't forget 100 million gem fruits. Do you want to tie a baby ginseng to death? Knock, knock, knock. There was a sudden knock on the door. The 4 legends of Dong Huang, who had finished handling their matters, came to Shi Yu's side in unison. At this moment, the 4 legends looked at Shi Yu with very complicated expressions. It could be said that at the start, no one expected Shi Yu to really pass the 10 levels alone. This was simply unbelievable. It was even more unbelievable than Shi Yu defeating the Space Emperor's secondary pet. This kind of battle strategy is actually very dangerous. If it's not necessary next time, don't use it again, especially when facing those top overlords. Fortunately, that Heavenly Cloud Tiger's cultivation wasn't perfect this time. Otherwise, it would have been very risky, said the tyrannical sea legend after entering. Although Shi Yu didn't say it in detail, these legends quickly understood the strategy. Its proficiency was ridiculously high. Coupled with other methods to hide energy, it attacked head-on. I know. I'm just giving it a try this time, Shi Yu said with a nod. He knew what the tyrannical sea legend meant. Sneak attacks were built on the foundation that the enemy couldn't detect. And after some pets were cultivated to a very powerful level, they could reach the stage where they could sense danger and avoid it. Apart from that, some pets also mastered skills that could predict the future in advance, such as the danger premonition, protection water, protection flame, and future prediction. At that time, as long as the Cloud Tiger sensed it in advance that there was a Shrank Susu who approached it, it would be in a very dangerous situation. However, wasn't this because the sneak attack on the totem cat successfully gave them confidence? At that time, he had also consulted the gem cat. Even if it was an overlord-level creature, if it didn't master the overlord's will, it was very rare for it to reach this realm. After all, even it as a totem almost failed. Basically, only overlords whose willpower had been tempered and who had mastered the will of overlords could reach this body and mental realm that made them sense a completely hidden danger. Therefore, when Shi Yu saw that the willpower of the tiger cat on the mountain was medium, he knew that it was stable. Then, he bet that the other party didn't have skills like Dao Proficiency's Water of Protection and Flame of Protection. Even transcendent level skills weren't enough. After a series of complicated games, Shi Yu succeeded, so his opponent lost. What's with the ridiculous energy eruption of your pet? At this moment, Jiang Qianyang couldn't help but say, afraid that Shiyu would target him after returning. It looked like this fourth-rank person still didn't know that he would become Shiyu's bodyguard in the future. Otherwise, he wouldn't care so much about ranking or victory. This is a secret. Shiyu chuckled and said, it's related to its overlord will. It's not convenient to talk about it in detail. Shiyu lied. How could he tell him to use Infinite Devour to store the power of the Time Fruit? After all, the tyrannical sea legend was right there. However, Shiyu didn't lie. Without the overlord's will, he couldn't add points to Infinite Devour. Without Infinite Devour, there was no way to erupt. It was very reasonable. Overlord's will, Jiang Chenyang was shocked. What, that Ice Pet had an Overlord's will? Overlord will was very rare even among Overlord-level creatures. Only among totems was it not rare. Among the 10 totems, 9 of them could have the will of an Overlord. After all, those who could grow into totems were all extremely extraordinary. Overlord's will, Xiao Shuang and Senior Ku were also slightly shocked. For example, although Xiao Shuang's pet had also mastered this, Shiyu's Monarch-level pet had also mastered the Overlord's will. What race was this? Only the tyrannical sea legend was silent. It was naturally normal for the Blue Sea Sprite's will reincarnation to master the Overlord's will. This was the Blue Sea Sprite. The willpower of the top-notch demigods who had fought the Western Abyss Sea many times definitely exceeded everyone's imagination, even after reincarnation. In the next 4 days, G-Foam and the others should continue to challenge. The time to explore the ruins' mystic realm will also start the day after tomorrow. During this period, what are your plans? The tyrannical sea legend asked. I want to find the Space Emperor ruins to take a look first. I don't plan to stay and watch the battle, Shiyu said. I'll save some time. It's been so long. I reckon it might not be that easy to find the Space Emperor ruins. I want to find the Space Emperor ruins to take a look first. I don't plan to stay and watch the battle, Shiyu said. Save some time. It's been so long. I reckon it might not be that easy to find the Space Emperor ruins. I'll watch over him. No problem, the Gem Cat said casually. No problem. Just treat it as me resting in Donghuang Base. We'll also leave a clone behind, Shiyu said. All right then. Legend Sea Tyrant nodded and confirmed his train of thought. Next, Shiyu and the Gem Cat went to find the coordinates of the Space Emperor ruins first. The others continued to watch the Road of Champions challenge and carry out other exchanges. Finally, it was time for the Donghuang exchange team to explore the Phoenix Mystic Realm together. The next day, the second round of the Champion Challenge began. Today's challenger was Zhu Yun, Heavenly King Zhu. Chapter 594, Overlord 3. Chapter 594, Overlord 3. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. At this moment, the Legend of the Seven Islands realized that Lu Bai from Donghuang didn't come to watch the battle today. Lu Bai consumed too much energy yesterday. The eruption of his pet is related to his special cultivation talent, so he needs to rest deeply for 2 days. The tyrannical sea legend gave the battle state legend of the Seven Islands a response, making the battle state legend fall silent. Do you need our help? Don't worry, it's not a big problem. He'll be fine after resting for 2 days. Our base has accompanying rest facilities, tyrannical sea legend said with a smile. Damn it, the legend of the warring states was silent. Yesterday, they had already discussed a strategy to poach this Lu Bai to the Seven Islands. Even today, they had already arranged for the proud daughters of heaven of the Seven Islands to come to the sky ship to contact Lu Bai, but Lu Bai didn't come? Could they only rope him in when he used the ruins' mystic realm? At this moment, Shiyu was already hiding in the ruins' ring space. He was brought far away from Heavenly Rainbow Island by the totem-level cat. They were running in the direction of Star Wilderness Island, one of the Seven Islands. It was very exciting. But at this moment, what excited Shiyu the most was not that he was about to turn the hatching progress of the Starry Sky Egg into quarter completion, but that something big had happened in the ruins. 11. Buggy, Baby Ginseng, and Ling trained and studied as usual. Naturally, nothing big happened to them. As for Susu, it had just cleared the champion path and was very confident. It couldn't wait to participate in the next team competition. It felt that it had already been reborn. It shouldn't be a problem to rank in the top 3 of the team. However, it wasn't that a happy thing had happened to it, but Kai Tong. Mi. In the ruined space, in Kai Tong's house built with various ice element energy crystals. The bone sword was placed in the most conspicuous position. Usually, Kai Tong would follow Shiyu's request and possess the bone sword to cultivate. And today, it was still cultivating as usual, but its body suddenly changed. Through the bone sword, it comprehended a skill. This works? In the space, Shiyu looked at the confused Kai Tong and the bone sword with still strong energy fluctuations. He was stunned to the extreme. Name: Bone Sword. Attributes: Undead. Level: Level 9, Legendary level. Introduction: The Sword of the Dead can revive the life it killed in the form of an undead and control its will. This was a legendary resource distributed to Shiyu by Ancient Capital University. Not only did it have a special effect, but it was also a legendary weapon. At the same time, the undead that possessed and lived inside could also be subtly strengthened. At the same time, when he gave it to Shiyu, Principal Feng also said that if he completely absorbed the power of the bone sword, he might inherit the special ability of the bone sword. Super skill: Undead Revival. It would revive the life it killed in the form of an undead and make it its puppet skill. This skill was also a top-notch skill among undead-type super skills. But logically speaking, it needed to completely absorb the power of the bone sword to have a chance of inheriting it, but now. Mi tilde? Name: Kai Tong. Super skill: Revival of the Dead, Initiate. Kai Tong didn't wait for it to completely absorb the power of the bone sword at all. Instead, when it used the bone sword to cultivate daily, it directly comprehended the ability of the bone sword. At this moment, Kai Tong was also very confused. After all, suddenly awakening a super skill while cultivating was too scary. Of course, after the shock, it was completely unexpected ecstasy. Mimi tilde Kai Tong was overjoyed. Woo! Shiyu was also silent. Could it be because of the possession skill at the level of Dao proficiency? Therefore, it let Kai Tong get closer to the requirements of the bone sword? If that was the case, he could find more similar resources in the future. Mimi tilde tilde. Kai Tong was extremely excited. This skill was good. It couldn't wait to kill a few ferocious beasts and turn them into undead to become its followers. Not bad. 11. You have to work hard too. Shiyu nodded heavily. Then, his gaze swept across 11 and the others who had come to watch the commotion. 11 was stunned before nodding aggrievedly. Was it the same? How could it be the same? Kai Tong could possess the bone sword, but 11 could only carry the magnetic metal for training. It was different. Among the legendary resources Shiyu had obtained, the Soil of Life was a standard strengthening resource. Its use was purely to strengthen the life force of plant-type life forms. As for the legendary Dragon Ball, it was an evolution-type legendary resource, but it also had a strengthening nature. The Cold Sky Drop was a legendary strengthening resource that could give new attributes. As for the Aurora Magnetic Gold and the Bone Sword, apart from a certain strengthening effect, they both had the effect of awakening specific skills. The magnetic metal was White Lightning, and for the Bone Sword it was the Revival of the Dead. Shiyu originally thought that 11 would awaken the White Thunder first because the rarity and control difficulty of the White Thunder was far inferior to the Undead Revival, nor was it as mysterious as the Undead Revival. However, he didn't expect that Kai Tong would gain something first. Wu tilde yi. Nink. The other pets were envious. Could their legendary resources also drop skills? Ah. At this moment, Ling's little brain also moved. After Baby Ginseng's time mark is healed, let Kai Tong's bone sword kill Baby Ginseng through the revival of the dead. Is there any hope of creating 2 Baby Ginsengs, 1 revived Baby Ginseng and 1 undead Baby Ginseng? Baby Ginseng? Yi. Baby Ginseng took a step back and widened its eyes. Was this thing a demon? The time mark wasn't something to be abused like this. Chapter 595, All Overlords, 4. Chapter 595, All Overlords, 4. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. M.I. Kai Tong was stunned, its eyes shining. If it had the undead Ginseng baby as a puppet, wouldn't it be first in the team competition? Cough, cough. The corners of Shiyu's mouth twitched. We'll talk about it in the future. It's entry level right now, so it isn't safe. Baby Ginseng? So they really considered it. Very good. In a few days, I'll teach you another skill, Shiyu said. Demon Blade Curse. Shiyu had already imagined how to use it. When they encountered an Overlord-level ferocious beast, they would first cripple it in a group battle. Then, Kai Tong would attack. Firstly, the first wave directly absorbed a large amount of Ghost God Curse power as the energy for the Demon Blade Curse skill. Then, through the revival of the dead, it would transform its soul that was about to disappear into an undead life form. First, he would let the undead puppet work for him. When it had no use for him, he would let Kai Tong attack and shatter it. Through the spirit-released skill, he would use its power as nutrients for the spirit release to increase his growth. Perfect! Kai Tong was still the most efficient one. If it encountered a ferocious beast, it could break it into several pieces to utilize. Unlike Baby Ginseng, which exploded directly and couldn't even pick up the materials on the enemy's body. M.I. Kai Tong continued to cheer. At the same time, Shiyu chuckled and felt that the future was beautiful. In the past few days, he had also thought of something clearly. A way to have a few more Overlord-level battle powers before the world competition. As everyone knew, the increase in racial skills would lead to an increase in growth level. Therefore, if Shiyu raised the pet super racial skills to above perfect level, they would accidentally break through to the Overlord level. As they cultivated daily, holding back from leveling up was very difficult. If they weren't careful, they would break through the space and make Shiyu a cripple. Even if Shiyu could withstand it, he would quickly be drained dry and become extremely weak, causing his subsequent cultivation and points to be delayed. However, what if when their super racial skill proficiency approached perfect level, Shiyu only leveled up their taught skills alone? Taught skills resulted in less than a tenth of the growth level progress of racial skills. It was almost negligible. Why was Lu Qingyi's pet so strong? It was because its previous pets had all received special inheritances and mastered the perfect level teaching skill Mythical Revival. This super skill taught skills and not racial skills. Even if it reached perfect level, it didn't lead the growth level of Senior Lu's pet to the Overlord level. Lu Qingyi herself wasn't affected at all. Therefore, if Shiyu specialized in teaching skill points after 11 and the others' racial skills were unsuitable, he seemed to be able to achieve a similar effect. For example, 11. If it mastered the transcendent Undying Golden Body when it was at the Monarch level, the limit of the injury and recovery ratio was close to 1:1. Then, didn't that mean that as long as the Overlord-level creature couldn't insta-kill it, it might not lose any HP even if it stood and let the Overlord-level creature fight? The Undying Golden Body was a taught skill. Even if it broke through to perfect level, it wouldn't lead 11's growth level to break through to Overlord. Similarly, Buggy's spatial control, Baby Ginseng's plant control, Kai Tong's Demon Blade Curse, and Susu's Heavenly Frost Cold Energy were not racial skills. Instead, they were taught skills. Even if it reached Transcendent, apart from the loss of points, Shiyu wouldn't be too affected. For 11 and Susu, who had the will of Overlords, the frequency of adding points to super skills could be completely controlled to 1 to 2 days. As for Transcendent level super skills, adding 48 points on the foundation of perfection was enough. They could complete one in less than 2 months. There were still 8 months until the world competition. It seemed like he could do it. He wanted to increase the teaching of super skills before the world tournament so that every pet had Overlord-level battle power. He could give up the Overlord level, but he could still have Overlord-level battle power. At that time, Buggy and the others would clearly only be at the Monarch level, but once they attacked, it would be a transcendent super skill that even some totem-level creatures had yet to master. It was like fighting a baby cup. Of course, if the conditions allowed, it was best to still try to let a pet break through at a higher level. It was better to have a real Overlord-level pet by his side. In terms of battle power, a beast with transcendent super skills and Overlord level could probably crush top-notch Overlords like the sky-penetrating whale in Dragon Palace City. An invincible Overlord like the Tyrant Sea Legend, the mutated Leviathan, could fight a totem as an Overlord. Hey, hey, hey! As Shiyu was sorting out the additional points plan, the traveling Gemcat suddenly shouted in the outside world. The ruin space immediately trembled. "We're here, we're here!" Upon hearing the Gemcat's voice, Shiyu was stunned. Then, he quickly evacuated 11 and the others before coming out of the ruined space himself. After he came out, he was directly in a forest. The Gemcat yawned beside him and said, "This is Star Wilderness Island. The current location should be some forest. It's already very close to the location marked on the map by the Space Emperor ruins. In any case, it's nearby. Look at the map and see where we go next." Shiyu took out the map and the space pet egg. He grunted and looked at the sky. The vicinity should be the wild. Yes. It's very far from the few big cities on Star Sea Island. There aren't even many beast tamers in the vicinity. "Let's look around," Shiyu said. According to the Void Mantis, it's a very common small stone ruin exposed to the outside world. Put the egg on it, and it will automatically activate the altar to slowly absorb the starlight. But so many years had passed. Shiyu also suspected that the ruins left behind by the Space Emperor to attract starlight were still around. The Space Emperor dynasty had already died, let alone an altar. The possibility of it still existing was really not high. If the altar had long been torn down, Shiyu and the others would probably have to find another way to hatch this egg. The scenery is pretty good. This forest should be on a mountain. Some weak awakening level creatures in the mountain were very active. Splash tilde. Splash tilde. Moreover, all of them seemed to be quite fierce. When Shiyu and the others passed by a lake, water splashed from inside, as if they didn't want Shiyu and the others to barge into their territory. A water-type pet suddenly jumped out and blocked in front of Shiyu and the others. Shiyu yawned in boredom and said, "Teacher Cat, I'll leave it to you." "The Gemcat? Is it appropriate for a totem level like me to bully a transcendent level? I can't afford to embarrass myself like that." The Gemcat was angry and didn't even want to release its deterrence. "Call your pet out yourself. I don't care anymore. I'm going to rest next. You settle it yourself." The Gemcat turned and left. Is that necessary?" Shiyu muttered. However, at the same time, he felt that it was a waste of talent to let Suso and the others deal with a transcendent creature. It was better to give the other party a punch himself. Shiyu looked at the blue water element creature that looked like a duck. With a look, Shiyu's expression changed almost instantly. He had already developed the good habit of letting the skill index scan any transcendent life form he encountered, in order to test the other party's will level and whether it had a mythical bloodline. However, the good habit had been maintained for so long, and Shiyu had never missed it. But this time... Holy shit, another pet at the transcendent level that has mastered the Overlord's will. What's going on? Shiyu was shocked. He looked at the blue duck in front of him. Susu was the reincarnation of the blue sea sprite. It was fine if it had the Overlord's will. Who was this transcendent level duckbill beast that suddenly appeared? Quack, the standing blue duckbill beast looked at Shiyu and the others unkindly. It closed its hands and pulled them apart. A water spear condensed. After it swung in a posture, the spearhead was aimed at Shiyu and the others, warning them not to come over. Chapter 596, This Duck is Not Simple, 1. Chapter 596, This Duck is Not Simple, 1. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Named Duckbill Beast. Attributes: Water. Race level: High Transcendent. Level of growth: Transcendent. Race skill: Water Blade, intermediate water-type skill, can condense water into a long-handled stabbing weapon formed by a sharp blade and a stick. Psychic Strike, intermediate spiritual skill, concentrate, increase your perception and detect the enemy's weakness. Introduction: The duckbill beast lives in rivers and lakes. Its attack method is to create spear-like water blades. When you see it, you have to be careful of its movements, because it might be looking for the most fatal attack method. Energy points: 2333. Skill: Water Element Control. Teaching success rate: high. Shiyu looked at the blue duckbill beast in front of him that had its claws and looked like a human. He was slightly stunned. Duck, you've successfully piqued my interest, Shiyu said slowly. Transcendent level: Overlord Will. Moreover, the energy value of ordinary transcendent races was rarely so high. It was basically between 500 to 1000. As for this duck, it was almost close to the standard of the monarch race's transcendent level. As a wild creature, it was very rare. Shiyu didn't believe that this duckbill beast could reach this stage at its age. It was most likely the reincarnation of a totem big boss. Zhongxian could reincarnate, and the blue sea sprite could reincarnate, so other totems might have the ability to reincarnate. Let's catch it and take a look, Shiyu muttered in his heart. Although he had encountered a low-level pet with the will of an overlord, because he already had the water element Susu, Shiyu didn't have much desire to take in the pet. He was just curious and wanted to know what this guy was like. Quack! The duckbill beast's gaze was cautious. It was fine if this group of people casually barged into its territory, but they always said nonsense. It really couldn't tolerate it. Quack! Go away, I'll pretend nothing happened. Don't force me to attack. Little G, I'll leave it to you. Shiyu snapped his fingers. Out of respect for the big boss, he didn't rely on his levels to bully it. After all, if the bin bear couldn't withstand Shiyu's punch without using its skills, it would be insta-killed, let alone an transcendent level duckbill beast. Roar! I am the overlord of the earth. Boom! Under Shiyu's summoning, light appeared. In the ruined space, the mechanical tyrant dragon that was sleeping in the dragon ring was pulled out by Shiyu. It just so happened that it was also at the transcendent level. Why not use it to test the situation of this duckbill beast? Roar! As soon as the mechanical tyrant dragon came out, its disdainful gaze locked onto the duckbill beast in front of it. Without needing Shiyu to call it, it knew what was going on. During this period of time, Ling had collected a lot of its battle data. Wasn't it just fighting? Roar! In the roar, the tyrant dragon condensed two space-splitting swords with its short hands and looked at the duckbill beast holding the water spear with a burning gaze. Quack! That's it. The duckbill beast looked at the mechanical tyrant dragon in disdain. Tyrant dragon? Although it couldn't understand what the duckbill beast was saying, the disdain in its expression undoubtedly stimulated the mechanical tyrant dragon's nerves. The mechanical tyrant dragon was furious. Roar! Don't insult a king. With that said, it stepped heavily on the ground and slashed at the duckbill beast with two earth element heavy swords. Boom! The heavy sword had no edge, but the skill was great. Eat its king's sword. The battle between the two transcendent pets was naturally a battle between rookies, but Shiyu's gaze was rather serious. In terms of race, the mechanical tyrant dragon was simply better than the duckbill beast. Its energy level even exceeded 5,000 points. Under normal circumstances, even at the same level, this duckbill beast would still be insta-killed. However, this duckbill beast that had mastered the overlords will kept giving Shiyu an unusual feeling. Things wouldn't be that simple. What the hell are you doing? Beside him, the gem cat that had run off to take a walk turned around. Shiyu had already sent the mechanical tyrant dragon to fight the duckbill beast. The corners of its mouth couldn't help but twitch. It was already so difficult to fight a low-level wild monster, how could he find an empty egg incubator? Ooh? The cat was just about to question, but its gem eye suddenly flickered with a light, revealing a surprised expression. This was because as the opponent finally attacked, the duckbill beast's gaze suddenly became fierce. It was as if a peerless expert was standing at a very high realm, looking down at the mechanical tyrant dragon. Duck! Its aura and energy rose steadily. As the duckbill beast breathed, the surrounding air seemed to have a rhythm. Energy points, 9999. A transcendent-level duckbill beast with energy fluctuations approached commander rank with a bang. Shiyu and the gem cat couldn't tell what skill the duckbill beast had used at all. Its strength level naturally increased just like that. Quack! The duckbill beast also moved. After a flash of its gaze, it charged towards the incoming tyrant dragon at an extremely fast speed. High-level earth element skill, space-splitting sword. Intermediate-level water element skill, water blade. Brown light and blue light flashed. The two heavy swords crossed and slashed at the tiny duck, while the duck, with a water spear, directly stabbed at the weakness of the mechanical tyrant dragon's move. In the next moment, the tyrant dragon and the duckbill beast exchanged positions. The two pets held weapons and had their backs facing each other. Boom! A violent airflow erupted from the two of them. With a crack, the two heavy swords held by the mechanical tyrant dragon directly shattered. The mechanical tyrant dragon revealed an incredulous expression and looked down at the saber mark on its chest. Chapter 597, This Duck is Not Simple, 2. Chapter 597, This Duck is Not Simple, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Quack! The duckbill beast didn't even turn around. It swung its gun and continued to look at Shiyu. That was all? Meow, meow, meow. At this moment, the gem cat was extremely shocked. A wild duck shattered the mechanical tyrant dragon? What was going on? Shiyu's expression also changed slightly. Overlord Will? However, the mechanical tyrant dragon was too lousy. Did it know how much it was worth? How could it lose so easily? He instantly felt very cheated. Also, this duck-billed beast just now had definitely naturally activated its overlord will, stimulating its potential and erupting with stronger strength. It wasn't a skill, but purely a basic skill to fight a strong enemy above its level. Susu also knew this ability, but even Susu didn't activate it as smoothly as this duck. How was this possible? What exactly was this duck? Roar! At this moment, on the other side, the mechanical tyrant dragon covered its pierced chest in pain. It was unable to restrain its anger. It, the dignified overlord of the land, the king dragon, was actually, by a duck. A duck! Buzz! A rich brown light began to spread with the mechanical tyrant dragon as the center of gravity. It directly activated the Earth domain, and its energy fluctuations also rose steadily at this moment. Seeing this, the duckbill beast instantly turned around and jumped up acutely, because in the next moment, a violent earthquake wave attacked. Boom! The earthquake wave swept over like a tsunami, making the jumping duckbill beast's gaze solemn. It also made Shiyu's gaze solemn. Idiot, it attacked me! Shiyu was also furious. If it couldn't control the earthquake well, it didn't have to. Looking at the incoming earthquake wave, Shiyu punched the ground. With a boom, the ground on Shiyu's side suddenly cracked. A terrifying shock wave swept up from the ground, instantly devouring the earthquake released by the mechanical tyrant dragon, shattering the mechanical tyrant dragon's earth domain, and also toppling the surrounding trees. Dust and smoke kept rising. When the duckbill beast landed, its body was still swaying. It opened its mouth wide and looked at the tyrant dragon in front and the humans behind in confusion. Duckbill beast, oh. Wait a minute, who was the beast tamer and who was the pet? Why was it different from the outside world it knew? The duckbill beast opened its mouth wide. It felt that Shiyu's punch just now could instantly kill it. Roar! Next time, I'll definitely control it well. The tyrant dragon said timidly, afraid that Shiyu would hit it. However, Shiyu suspected that the mechanical tyrant dragon wanted to accidentally kill him and usurp the throne. What's wrong with this duck? At this moment, the gem cat was also curious. As a cat, it was normal for it to be curious. Shiyu looked at the duck in front of him in deep thought and said, "I don't know, but it's worth researching." "Little G, continue attacking," Shiyu continued to say to the tyrant dragon. Roar! The mechanical tyrant dragon looked at the duckbill beast fiercely, determined to get back at it. The duckbill beast also suddenly looked at the mechanical tyrant dragon. A battle was about to begin. A battle between machine and duck. A moment later, Shiyu carried the unconscious duck and said to the gem cat, "Why don't you help find the Space Emperor ruins first? You saw it just now. This thing has the will of an overlord. It's most likely the reincarnation of a totem creature. I'll study it." The gem cat. Meow. The gem cat was furious. It might as well eat that egg. Why hatch it? In any case, Shiyu didn't seem to be in a hurry to hatch it. However, the gem cat looked at the blue duck and fell into deep thought. Totem reincarnation, duck? Compared to the octopus tentacles of the totem-level vortex demon beast, which was better? "Are you planning on cooking it as imperial capital roasted duck?" it asked. Fried star egg plus roasted totem duck. This was simply a godlike life. It could make the prediction owl cry with envy. The unconscious duckbill beast's duck palm twitched twice. "How is that possible?" Shiyu retorted. "This duck's aptitude is extraordinary. It's a pity to leave it on the 7 islands. I'll bring it to Dong Huang to see if I can sell it for a good price. If it's really a totem reincarnation, it's worth a legendary resource no matter what. The Dong Huang Association definitely doesn't mind having another future guardian." As for the duckbill beast's opinion, he didn't consider it. It was very similar to the ginseng baby that was snatched away by Grandma Li at that time. However, he wasn't as cruel as Grandma Li. He wouldn't use ducks to make soup. He had never thought of using a ginseng baby to make duck blood radish soup with the duckbill beast. "Please, teacher cat." After Shiyu finished speaking, he directly carried the duckbill beast and entered the ruined space, leaving the gem cat outside blowing the northwest wind. "This?" The gem cat thought for a moment and came to a conclusion after a rational analysis. It was used by Shiyu as a tool anchor again. Finding the Space Emperor ruins was such a boring thing. How could it be more interesting than researching the Overlord Will Duck? Damn it, this matter won't end until there are 100 million gem fruits. In the outside world, the gem cat began the process of searching for the ruins while cursing. In the ruins ring space, Shiyu and his pet surrounded the unconscious duckbill beast. The mechanical tyrant dragon vs the duckbill beast. In the end, it was almost a draw between the two pets, and they ended up exhausted together. In terms of explosive power and skill, the duck-billed beast was clearly better, but it couldn't withstand the mechanical tyrant dragon's thick skin and longer endurance. To Shiyu, this draw was the mechanical tyrant dragon losing. To Ling, the mechanical tyrant dragon also lost. Chapter 598, This Duck is Not Simple, 3. Chapter 598, This Duck is Not Simple, 3. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. It lacked training. In some aspects, it still needs to be improved, Ling said. The few of them ignored the tyrant dragon. Next, Shiyu brought 11 and the others to observe the duckbill beast on the ground. They surrounded it. Tilda Buggy shook its head. It had just entered the duckbill beast's dream to take a look. This duckbill beast was ordinary, and its experience was also very ordinary. It was just that he was a little genius. After it was born, the proficiency of various skills and battle skills increased very quickly. That was all. If it was experience, it was challenging various transcendent creatures along the way and becoming a tyrant in the mountains and lakes. It was a very ordinary experience. Such pets were definitely common on Blue Planet. It really didn't look like it could have the will of an overlord. After all, that was only a lake overlord, and this mountain didn't have any creatures stronger than commander rank. If it could have the will of an overlord even like this, there was no reason why it, Buggy, couldn't. Baby Ginseng let Buggy know that it was still the overlord of the lake after all. How could it be the same? Buggy! How bold! The more ordinary it is, the more ordinary its experience is. This means that it was more affected by its previous life. It's most likely totem reincarnation. However, what I'm curious about now is whether its previous life was an ordinary totem or a top-notch totem. Shiyu touched his chin. Baby Ginseng. Yi! As Baby Ginseng waved its hand in front of the duckbill beast's nose, the unconscious duckbill beast instantly perked up. Its tail fluttered, and its eyes opened shakily. After opening his eyes, he felt that his surroundings were dark. It looked up and suddenly realized that pairs of eyes were looking down at it. "You're awake," Shiyu said. "Duckbill beast!" Quack! The duckbill beast was shocked and jumped up, but 11 pressed its hand down. "Woo! Don't move," 11 said. The huge strength made the duckbill beast swallow crazily and become a drooling duck. However, it still erupted with power that exceeded its limit and resisted. However, it was useless. It revealed a tragic expression and decided to fight to the death. At this moment, Shiyu said, "Don't be excited, don't be nervous. We're good people. I just feel that it's a waste of your talent to stay on this small mountain with your aptitude." Duckbill beast? Are you interested in coming with us to see the outside world, a wider world? With your aptitude, I believe you can quickly choose an overlord, suppress totems, and dominate the world. Shiyu activated telepathy and comforted the duck first. The heavens gave birth to you for a reason. A duck is not a creature in a pool. It transforms into a dragon when it encounters a storm. A cold light arrives first, and then, like a spear, you shoot out like a dragon. The duckbill beast opened its mouth slightly again. Although it couldn't understand a little, it felt that it was awesome. Its DNA seemed to have moved. Yi! At this moment, Baby Ginseng took out a fruit and started babbling. Let Shiyu try this. It used Susu's memory water to water the time fruit that was specially cultivated. It was a powerful product named Reincarnation Fruit. There was hope that the reincarnated pet could temporarily activate the power of its previous life, and it was considered the sister fruit of the Soul Heart fruit. This was indeed useful, especially for those reincarnated pets. In Shiyu's team, Susu was the only one that had any effect after using it. However, although it had tasted it, Susu still judged it to be useless. Because the reincarnation fruit was limited by Baby Ginseng and Susu's strength, its strength was limited. At most, it could make the pet recall the power of its previous life. As for Susu, it had reincarnated countless times in the past 1,000 years. The number of reincarnations was almost countless. Moreover, the power of its reincarnation recently was pitifully weak. There was really no value in recalling it. Using this thing, Susu only recalled its power as a water elemental sprite in its previous life. And that power, while not absolutely useless, could still be said to be very useless. But from the looks of it, Baby Ginseng still didn't seem to have given up on the reincarnation fruit it was researching. It wanted to try using this duckbill beast that was suspected to be a totem reincarnation. Yi! Not every pet can reincarnate infinitely like Susu. Baby Ginseng was decisive. Perhaps this duckbill beast's previous life was a totem. With this reincarnation fruit, it could directly determine its identity. Quack! The duckbill beast looked at the mumbling Baby Ginseng, Shiyu, and the others in confusion. Then, give it a try? In the next moment, as Shiyu finished speaking, Baby Ginseng nodded heavily and looked at the duckbill beast. Duckbill beast? Yi! This is delicious. Baby Ginseng shook the fruit and said to the duckbill beast. The duckbill beast took a step back and rejected it very much. As if it would believe this. This group of people was very bad. This was definitely not a good thing. Yi! Eat, eat, eat! Baby Ginseng was angry. It directly used the sweet aura skill to give the reincarnation fruit's water element creature its favorite aura and threw it into the air. In the next moment, its aura flowed, and the duckbill beast's pupils constricted. Quack! The duckbill beast leaped up and swallowed the fruit into the duck's mouth. Duckbill beast, *, burp. Gulp! The fruit was swallowed by the duckbill beast. Then, its expression changed. A dark power and a black water-like mist suddenly spread from its blue body. This black mist was like the light of evolution, directly enlarging the body of the duckbill beast. Seeing this, Shiyu was stunned. Damn, it really works. This scene stunned Shiyu and the others. They retreated in unison, leaving some space for the duckbill beast. Buzz! 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 5 meters. The duckbill beast's body began to become fat. Its blue skin began to be covered in black, leaving only a portion of dark blue patterns. The most conspicuous thing was its neck. The black water froze like a ribbon, becoming a scarf-like part that floated behind it. In just a short instant, the image of the duckbill beast changed completely. It directly turned from the seemingly silly blue duckbill beast to the extremely handsome dark duckbill beast, like a demonic beast. Its strength level also temporarily increased crazily to the monarch level because of the reincarnation fruit. A moment later, the duckbill beast opened its deep red eyes. Although the fragment-like power memory and identity memory were already blurry, it still made it remember something. Quack! I am of the Abyss Sea, Demigod Overlord, Duck God, Abyss Demon Duck. Boom! A terrifying abyssal magic power erupted from the duckbill beast's body. Even 11 and the others' expressions changed slightly. So strong. But wait. What did it just say? Deep. Abyss Sea. Shiyu and Susu. Damn, what the F***CK? Wasn't that the greatest enemy of the Blue Sea Sprite? What the hell? As expected, it's better to stew soup. This duck can't be left alive. Abyss Demon Duck? Chapter 599, Second Team's Construction, 1. Chapter 599, Second Team's Construction, 1. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Duck! After turning into the abyssal demon duck, the duckbill beast was a little stunned. It felt a crazy battle awareness spread above. It was very excited. Its eyes gradually turned red as its own will resisted another will. Fight! 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 The will and memories of the abyss demon duck constantly corroded the duckbill beast, wanting it to defeat all the enemies in front of it. The strong battle intent made the duckbill beast's body heat up. As for the duckbill beast's will, it still maintained its calm and tried its best to fight the abyss demon duck's will. It couldn't let this happen. It couldn't fight. They had more people. They couldn't win. It didn't want to turn into duck soup. Battle, battle, battle. No way. The two wills kept resisting. At this critical moment, a basin of cold water descended from the sky, instantly waking the duckbill beast up. It widened its round eyes and was a little stunned. After summoning the duckbill beast back with the cleansing water, baby Ginseng directly pressed its hand on the ground. In the next moment, it activated its plant control and the tough vines directly tied the duckbill beast tightly. 11 still felt that this was a little unsafe, so it directly pressed its hand on the ground. A black cage immediately formed on the ground, locking the duckbill beast inside. In an instant, the duckbill beast became a caged duck. In the cage, the duckbill beast looked around. Underscore? Wait a minute. What was going on? The Abyss Sea. Demigod Overlord. At this moment, Shiyu, 11, Susu, and the others stared at the duckbill beast solemnly and cautiously. As for the duckbill beast, it looked at Shiyu and the others who were staring at it as if they were facing a great enemy. It felt like a duck was sitting at home and a pot was falling from the sky. It didn't even understand what was going on. It was clearly this group of people who intruded into its territory. It just wanted to chase them away. In the end, not only was it captured, but it was also repeatedly deceived. At the start, the other party clearly said that he was a good person, but in the end, he immediately turned against him. How could this be? You are the demigod overlord of the Abyss Sea, the Abyss Demon Duck. Shi Yu said. Duck? I'm not, I didn't, what do you mean? The Duckbill beast struggled crazily, feeling that the strength and memories just now were a little strange. Now, it was also a little afraid, because just now, its will had been swallowed. It was about to become duck soup. It's useless to deny it. Shi Yu discussed with 11 and the others how to deal with the Duckbill beast. As expected, it was better to make soup. This made the Duckbill beast in the cage beside him feel cold. Then, anger surged. These people were indeed not good people. Quack! 30 years in a lake, 30 more years in the same lake. Do not disturb my peace. It let out its final roar. Shi Yu and the others decisively ignored it. It was definitely impossible for them to just give it 30 years to grow. At that time, who could stop him after becoming an Abyss demigod? 30 years. Why did it feel like Susu could even become a mythical Abyssal Demon Duck? Wait a minute. At this moment, Shi Yu and the others were investigating the information about the Western Abyss Sea. Suddenly, Ling spoke quickly. Abyss Sea. This was a super ocean faction that had been passed down in the mythical era, just like Dragon Palace City. However, it was an enemy faction. Moreover, it was a big villain that had been destroyed many times but couldn't be completely destroyed. Although the Abyss Sea was destroyed by the Blue Sea Sprite from time to time, the inheritance of the Abyss Sea had never been severed. Every once in a while, a new demigod overlord would be born in the Abyss Sea. Therefore, there were also many demigod overlords in the Abyss Sea, just like the dragon god of Dragon Palace City. Just now, Shi Yu and the others were searching for information about the Abyss Sea through the first index. The first index recorded information about totems all over the world, both ancient and modern. Even information about some totems in ancient times was recorded. Among them, there were 4 demigod overlords of the Abyss Sea recorded in the first index. They corresponded to different periods, and the earliest could be traced back to hundreds of thousands of years ago. To Shi Yu and the others' surprise, the Abyss Demon Duck happened to be in the record. Abyss Demon Duck, one of the rulers of the Abyss Sea. It's also the strangest ruler, Ling said quickly. According to the investigation, the revived Abyss Sea was destroyed by the Blue Sea Sprite every time. But the Abyss Demon Duck was not destroyed by the Blue Sea Sprite when it was the Overlord. It said that at the start, the Abyss Demon Duck was just an ordinary duckbill beast. Because it wanted to become stronger, it resolutely threw itself into the darkness. While all water element creatures couldn't avoid the pollution of the revival of the Abyss Sea and were afraid that they would be infected and become irrational monsters, it took the initiative to come into contact with pollution and radiation, obtaining the power of the Abyss Sea evil god and completing its mutation. Moreover, for some reason, it didn't completely fall into madness and lose its mind. Instead, it perfectly controlled this power. However, it didn't leave the Abyss Sea because of this. Instead, it used this power to begin a crazy battle to train itself. In the end, it only took less than 100 years to become a demigod overlord and the demon that unified the Abyss Sea. It became the strongest totem in the ocean at that time, the fully deserving title of the King of Ocean Totems. Then, there was a problem. Generally speaking, the final goal of the Abyss Sea is to pollute the entire ocean and make the entire ocean become the territory of the Abyss Sea. However, because when the Abyss Demon Duck was in power, the reincarnation of the Blue Sea Sprite had yet to grow into a demigod. Before the Blue Sea Sprite appeared, the Abyss Demon Duck made its subordinate stop expanding. It felt that it was too easy to conquer the sea when people were defenseless. It wanted to wait for the Blue Sea Sprite. According to the rumors, compared to conquering, it preferred to fight and enjoyed fighting experts more. It was willing to wait for the Blue Sea Sprite to appear again. Chapter 600, Second Team's Construction, 2. Chapter 600, Second Team's Construction, 2. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. However, the Abyss Demon Duck didn't seem to be able to stay idle, so it turned around and aimed at the land. It planned to expand the land into the sea before conquering the sea and complete a greater goal. At the same time, it could challenge more experts. In the end, the Abyss Sea and the Abyss Demon Duck were destroyed by the land forces. It said that because they left the ocean home ground, their battle power on land was greatly reduced. The Abyss Demon Duck didn't want to give up no matter what, and in the end, it was wiped out. Shiyu and Susu. The pets. F*CK, was this Abyss Demon Duck stupid? Even Overlord-level pets knew that they had to fight on their home ground. What was the point of expanding the ocean to conquer the land before managing to conquer the ocean? What's your dream? Shiyu and the others were in an encrypted conversation just now, so the Duckbill Beast couldn't understand. As he was too curious about the duck, Shiyu suddenly turned around and looked at the aggrieved Duckbill Beast, wanting to confirm again. Quack! I didn't expect that I would die before I could turn the land into an ocean. The duck was angry. The reason why it was so alert to Shiyu and the others approaching its lake was because it had a greater dream. Expand the entire land into his territory. Its territorial awareness was not ordinary. Shiyu? Damn, it was definitely the reincarnation of the Abyssal Demon Duck. There was no escape. The Abyssal Demon Duck probably didn't really die when it came to fight on land. Instead, it was lucky to escape from the demigod on land. However, it was already on the verge of death and could only be forced to reincarnate. Then, it reincarnated into the Seven Islands and became a Duckbill Beast. However, the dream of the Duckbill Beast felt a little familiar. Wait a minute, did that mechanical tyrant dragon also want to expand the land and conquer the sea, turning everything into the earth and becoming the overlord of the earth? Shiyu completely didn't expect that the dignified Abyss Sea demigod overlord was actually at the same intelligence level as the basic intelligence mechanical tyrant dragon. Shiyu pulled 11 and the others around to discuss again. What do you think? Although the Abyss Demon Duck is the only recorded Abyss Lord that hasn't fallen into madness, this only means that its threat is greater, Ling analyzed. It was a battle maniac who also coveted land. This threat was clearly greater than other Abyss demigods. If it awakened the power and memories of its previous life, be it the sea or the land, it would probably be in chaos again. Woo! I'm not eating. After Ling finished analyzing, 11 expressed that it didn't like to eat ducks. Apart from Baby Ginseng, the only life form that had ever moved 11's heart, none had ever appeared. Buggy and Baby Ginseng also shook their heads, indicating that they didn't like to eat ducks. Why don't we cut it? Kai Tong requested to fight. This way, not only could it freeload the Abyssal Demon Duck's undead puppet, but its body could also be kept to stew soup. One duck was more useful like that. Nink! Susu hurriedly shook Kai Tong to stop it from being rash. Nink, Susu looked at Shiyu and felt that Ducky didn't deserve to die. Although it was also shocked at the start, wouldn't it be bad to use its identity in its previous life to veto a life that had yet to do anything wrong? Yes. Susu's words made Shiyu nod. After he calmed down, Susu's point of view was most in line with his thoughts. Nink! Susu immediately said. Why not let it try to cleanse the Abyss Duck God into a good duck? At that time, when the Abyss Sea made a comeback, it would let Duck accept the inheritance of the Abyss Sea and continue to be the overlord of the Abyss Sea. It and Duck would cooperate from the inside and out. Perhaps it could cut off the Abyss Sea from the origin. Millimeter, the corners of Shiyu's mouth twitched. He kept feeling that he had come to look for the Space Emperor ruins, but in the end, things developed in a baffling direction. He turned around and looked at the Duckbill Beast that was biting the vine. After thinking about it, Shiyu said, the Duckbill Beast is the overlord of the Abyss Sea. It's also something from my previous life. We've also seen its memory experience just now. From its birth until now, it hasn't even attacked a human. In other words, it's still a good duck now. It's indeed a little immoral to directly kill the current it according to its identity in its previous life. After all, from the looks of it, it's completely different from the abyssal demon duck. Nink. Susu agreed very much. As a reincarnation, it also didn't like its companions to treat it as a blue sea sprite. It was also different from the blue sea sprite. It wanted to be a star sea sprite. Let's do as Susu says. We'll just take good care of it. It's a pity to directly stew a duck with overlord potential, Shiyu said. Do you want to contract it? Ling asked. No contract, no points. Let's raise it together with the mechanical tyrant dragon later. Shiyu said. Although the duckbill beast wasn't equivalent to the abyss demon duck now, raising it was still a little risky. Be it contracts or points, there were risks. If the duckbill beast became stronger too quickly, it would easily cause too much damage when it suddenly recovered its memories from its previous life. As for the contract, Shiyu couldn't guarantee that the reincarnation of an abyss demigod didn't master any methods to counterattack beast tamers. It was also the least risky to raise it in the ruined space. This way, the duckbill beast could be monitored by them at any time. There was no possibility of its will being occupied by the abyss demon duck. Moreover, because it controlled the speed of becoming stronger, even if the duck's will was occupied by their previous life, they could immediately solve it. Just like the Void Mantis of the Space Emperor, nurture it as the second team. Shiyu said. It's probably not difficult to rely on its original potential to grow quickly.